City for Richey City Council Budget Workshop, Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. I stand for pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, have roll, please.
Mayor John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Vice Mayor Chris Mayer.
Here.
Councilman David Mueller.
Here.
Excuse me. Councilman Robert Hubbard.
Here.
Councilwoman Lisa Burke.
Here.
City Attorney Nancy Meyer. Here. City Manager Andrew Butterfield.
Here. Thank you. Okay, moving on down the agenda. First up is comments from the general public. Any comments from the general public? We have none here in council chambers. I don't believe we have anybody online. So we'll move back to council. Next up, comments from the city manager. Pass over Mr. Butterfield for his comments.
Yes, thanks, Mayor. This is a nice follow-up to last week's budget workshop. Today's focus would be CIP and capital improvement projects for the public, and any follow-up questions on any issues from last week's briefing and the things we covered there. I would note that CRA budget workshop would be covered separately when we do a next CRA.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is comments from the mayor and city council. I'll go out to you first, Bob. You got any comments?
No comment.
Okay. And we'll pass it over to Councilman Mueller.
I'm good, thank you.
Vice Mayor Mayer?
Nope.
Councilwoman Burke?
No, thank you.
Okay, I have none as well. Moving right along to our council business, item number 1, discussion of the City of Port Richey reserve schedules. Should I pass that to you or Adam? Or?
I'm just going to call Adam up.
Okay.
So yeah, he's the finance director, has been working this hard, gotten input from each department.
And I will give the floor to the finance director.
He's got
Mr. Thompson.
a slideshow put together also.
Well, for the reserve schedule, yeah. Hello. For the reserve schedule, that's just more of a spreadsheet. If you guys had any comments, it was just showing you what we have in our investments accounts right at this moment. If anybody had any questions about that, real quick.
Any questions on the reserve fund schedule?
I had a conversation with both of them.
Yeah.
This is a good start.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you note, really need to look at this at the end of the budget process to determine where you're going to land as a percentage. And you indicated the target is somewhere around 30%.
Yes.
Reserves in each, and every one of these accounts, we've got more. But this is the 25 budget and the 25 balance, correct?
Correct.
So as we exit this year, the tendency for the discussion is we were probably going to be adding to the reserves a little bit.
Correct.
So, and then based upon where we settled the budget for 2026, these numbers are going to float around a little bit.
Mm.
But it gives you an idea of what kind of cushion you got in there above your, say, 30%, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's good to note that we're in a really good financial position. Right.
Yes.
What this basically shows, and so I obviously thank staff and all that for.
But remember, that's because we haven't spent what we anticipated spending, and we withheld. At this juncture, we're probably looking at moving forward with spending. So that's why this is want to be in the forefront.
Yeah.
Well, I think too with that, we really kind of sit back and make sure that our capital plan is in line with what we need and where we're at, not just because we have the money to do it, but it's absolutely stuff we need. And I think that's going to be the best use of any of that money.
Yeah, much rather be in this position and needing to spend money as opposed to not being in a position and needing to spend money. So
Yes.
I think we're in a good place to really start to do some good things. Anything else on the reserve schedules?
Yeah, one of the other things you note that we have a lot of money in impact fees that we're certainly going to want to try to utilize for water and sewer.
Mm-hmm.
We've got water and sewer projects, so maybe we want to go and click that one off first. I don't know if that needs to be at a 30% level or not, but those are for things that impact our water and sewer, which we do have issues there. So.
Yeah. Speaking of impact fees, on the transportation impact fee line, did we check on if that was something we could use for Grand Boulevard? Are we still looking into that?
I'm still looking at it. I don't have a
So
answer for it. So.
anticipating that we can use some of that for that project. The other question I had on the police confiscation, is there anything you can let us know about what that can be used for?
Well, I think we have.
Purchases as far as body cams, vehicles, whatever.
I think we have. I'm working with the chief. I think we have some plans on to kind of work with that in this budget year on some things that we kind of gathered this year that are a little more expensive than what we had originally budgeted for, and that way we can eat it out of that
Okay.
and not mess with our budget at all. So that'll come down this next budget year.
Good.
One of the things on transportation, can we utilize that for canal maintenance, since those are water highways?
I'm gonna say probably not to that, but I can check into that. But I believe the big question is we have that is it the Grand Boulevard deal we were working on? It's supposed to be around $750,000. This would eat in a lot of that if we were able to do that, and that's what we're looking in to see if we can use it for that.
Yeah. Any other questions? Bob, you good? I'll assume so. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, item number 2, discussion on the capital improvement plan. Again, pass it over to Mr. Thompson for his updates.
Okay, got a real quick slide I'm going to go through kind of quickly. These are just some updates since our last budget meeting, some things that we changed and things like that. Didn't do a whole lot to impact our overall numbers, so kind of impressed by that. So overview, So I messed that up. It's our FY25. It's supposed to be 26. No, 25. I did that right. Okay. Budget adjustments made. Our net increase to overall budget was $3,521. So right now our revenues set at $33,860,851, and our expenditures set at $33,860 or $860,851. Internal allocations absorbed some of those cost variances. And I'll explain what those were going forward. Personnel and benefits, I did make a boo-boo. I do that every now and then. So when I did the police wages, I did it at 3.5% instead of the PBA contracted 4%. So I went in and made those adjustments. And that added an additional $35,000 with benefits. Our health insurance had a 17% placeholder. It was sufficient, I think, for what we're going to go with. Our percentage is a little bit lower, but we keep it at the 17% and have that little cushion in there going forward. So there were no adjustments were needed on that.
What was the percentage we're anticipating? 13?
About 14%, right at 14%. At the 13.9 something, I think. So right at 14. And our workers' comp and liability property insurance, they come back with about a 13% increase with that. So I had to go in. I didn't put that much in there, so I had to go in and fix that. So, but this slide. So our software and technology, I put in there. We're doing under IT, and now I was able to reduce that by about $35,000, and I think we still have a little cushion in there for some things that maybe I didn't miss, or maybe things I missed that are tied to other line items that I couldn't find it in. Our state fees for our red light cameras, we did go down on that. I left them the same in the original, the first time I wrote this, and that kind of gave us a little leeway. We knew we could reduce that a little bit, and that gave me a little leeway to reduce that. So I reduced that by about $50,000. Some questions on the lobbying services. I broke that down on where we were paying for the lobby service out of. General fund is $10,000. CRA, we actually talked about yesterday, we actually increased this. So I had $39,000 budgeted, and we ended up going to $42 in case there was in case you guys wanted to do a increase for him. I know that we talked at the last budget hearing, the last contract. The contract was originally for $42, but he did it for $36. So we may, just in case we go to that $42 mark, we have it covered. So CRA actually went to $8,000 from this $5,000. That covered that $3,000 difference. Water distribution at $6,000, wastewater treatment at $6,000, wastewater at $6,000, stormwater at $6,000. I also went ahead and adjusted our ad valorem on this one. from 6.2976, which is our rollback. I went ahead and just made it a nice round number at 6.29. It shows that we've actually reduced the taxes a little bit. It's not a whole lot. And that created about a negative 3,666.65 cent, which really just was offset by those other adjustments. Capital and debt changes. So we did remove the $250,000 from Penny for Pasco for the police vehicles purchased by Penny for Pasco. One of the problems that we were having, we had agreed that we'd take that out and kind of put that back into Nick's Park. But we had a couple meetings this week about our appropriations for the fire truck, and it looks like the fire truck is something we're going to have to pay for at least until we get it here and have the title to it. So we're going to have to make sure that we account for that every year for the next couple of years, at least until we get it here. So that's a $200,000 payment. So I took that $250,000, reallocated it to debt services for that fire truck payment. So that was $200,000 for the fire truck and $25,000 for the admin fees and the interest on it. And then I put the other $30,000 in a wastewater vehicle purchase to help offset. He does have enough in all of his line items to purchase a new truck in his regular budget, but I added another $30,000 to see if just as a maybe or contingency for that.
Just so you guys know, so on that, the fire truck, also we got $800,000 appropriation. What they're telling us is that we have to actually take delivery of it, have the keys in our hands, paid for before they can actually release the money. That seems odd to me. So I reached out to Mike to kind of follow up on that. He's going to continue to do some work. In my mind, it would seem that once we actually pay for that, that regardless of whether we have it or not, if it's on order and it's paid for, that they should release the funds that's budgeted for this year. But supposedly this process is not uncommon. This happens a lot. And so you just go back every year and you reappropriate until you actually take delivery of it, and then you get reimbursed.
So they just roll those funds forward?
Yeah, there's some accounting that goes behind that or whatever. But a couple of problems that I have with that is, obviously there's no guarantee it gets reappropriated every year, right? Although it's pretty much a guarantee. It doesn't go against us, and it's just more of an administrative type thing. But he's going to continue to check into it. I also said, well, if we're able to pay it off now, we save taxpayers from paying the interest along 5 years, 4 years. So by delaying it administratively, it's in the budget now, it seems like we're forcing additional money to go out the door for taxpayer money towards interest payments, which doesn't make any sense to me. So he's going to talk with the new CFO, Blaise Goglia, and who's actually over the fire marshal who we're dealing with, or whatever, to see if there's another route. So that's kind of in the works. But as of right now, we got a plan, obviously, to do it this way. So.
All right, I just kind of wanted to give us a heads up on where we're at with Penny for Pasco. We throw a lot of money into Penny for Pasco to kind of help offset a lot of our big expenditures, but just kind of give us food for thought. Our budget in this fiscal year is $1.578 million. Currently, with the police cars, we are sitting at $838,409 spent. We only received about $705,000. So we're right now about $133,000 that we're going to dip into reserves for. We are going to place or appropriate $200,000 more for the canal. So we're at $1,038,000. So now we're sitting from reserves $333,000. So that's going to leave our reserves at roughly $1.2 million for this fiscal year. So going forward, so there's another slide that you need to keep that $1.2 million in your mind.
So on that,
yeah.
Pasco, I'm sorry. So Penny for Pasco, we show on your previous reserve fund schedule at 88% of budget. Right. Is that taking this into consideration or not taking into consideration? Is that 88% after this? Or is that going to reduce that once?
That'll reduce that once we spend it. Yes.
Okay.
Because those are built in. The reserves are built in there. But now that you see what we have in reserves and what we're actually going to spend in, it'll make a little more sense that we need to cut back a little bit.
Thanks.
So we're on track to spend $1.6 million is what the budget is for 25.
Correct.
Year to date, we think we're spending about $838K.
That's what we've have. Yeah, when I put the $250,000 or the $440,000 for the cars in there, that's what we spent $838,000 this year, budget year.
Now the 705 Has that been added to, well,
That's part of the 1.5.
sorry, what was our starting point? Because I think our starting point in the reserves, we had a balance of over $1 million.
We have 1.5 million was in there. So for a penny for Pasco, we had
And then we added 700 to that, so that would bring it to 2.2.
yes, you could say that.
Okay, minus 8 or 9. So we've got a good. Is that what you're saying? The remaining is 1.4.
1.4 after we take out what we used this year.
Okay.
Now
We go forward into 26.
we're not done yet. We still have to take out the 200,000 we're going to appropriate. We have not appropriated that yet. So now you're at $1,038,000 is what you've actually spent, and that's not everything we're purchasing. That's if we stop purchasing right now. So we haven't met that 1.5 million, but we're not done purchasing. So even if we slack back, let's say we don't spend 200,000, we're still going to be. If we stopped at just the canal, we're at 1,038,000. So now you're pulling out $300,000 out of your reserve.
It was a schedule that we had the 5-year schedule. I think I sent it to you guys.
Yes.
Remember that one?
Yes.
Did you do that walk with 2026 and 27, 28, all the way through 30 yet?
I didn't have time to.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
This is just if we're starting at zero with what we have in the reserves right now and what we're going for.
But we got that reserve to start with, so we're going to add next year's for Pasco that comes in.
Yeah.
Going down.
Give me a second. We got problems, and I'm gonna get to them.
Okay, all right.
Second.
Go ahead.
All right. So are we all clear on that? So if we stop now, well, we'll be at another 200,000, so we're at $1.2 million in reserves after we don't spend nothing else after we do the canal,
We exit this year.
as we exit this year.
All right, so that's our starting point, 1.2.
We go to the caution. So they did a revision. I guess the state did some kind of, they repealed a conference tax this year, so it lowered everybody's penny for Pasco amount. So everybody in this county and mostly everybody in the state, there was only a few counties that went up. We were one of those that went down. So every city in Pasco County went down. So I put that in here. What they put in there, it's the 2% business tax repeal adopted by the conference on July 15th. We were estimated to get $749,188. That's what we budgeted for, but it went to $704,917. That's a loss of $44,271 for next fiscal year.
Hey, Adam, when they whatever caused this, did they do a reapportionment where they actually looked at the population in this too, or they just?
Yeah, there's in the form there's a formula in there. So what they do is they dropped it in there. Yeah, so the county lost everybody in the.
Yeah, so this one because it came up within the last year. I think maybe Chet was in the audience that mentioned about something about should we have this looked at, and I said, well, you gotta be careful what you wish for, because if you may go in and actually get
Right.
some. Well, that's exactly what happened. Is they looked at it and not at our request. I think just happened to be timing wise, but they looked at it and we actually got lower. So that's
So
the real.
we did get a lower allocation?
Yes.
That's what this is.
That's over and above this. This is something else. He's talking about a business tax that was eliminated from the calculation.
Right, but at the same time, so I ask him, he's
Yeah, this comes out of penny for Pasco.
apportionment with population.
So there was a two-step effort to reduce.
That's what I'm asking. I'm assuming when they looked at it, they opened up the entire.
Right.
They said other
Okay,
cities went
okay.
down as well.
Okay.
And it says in here, I think the only thing, Seminole County was the only thing that actually changed, because they did two changes so far this year. One was our original, and then Seminole County rose, and then they did this adjustment here. Yeah, so we're actually making less money than we made this fiscal year.
Right, but Pasco gets all the money, and then they have an allocation that goes to all their
Right.
cities. And that's what you're talking about, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's the sales tax. Yeah, this is penny for Pasco. This is what we get for the 1 cent or half-cent sales tax.
Statewide conference, like a bed tax, it's a conference fee, and that
Yeah,
Yeah, that was,
got eliminated.
but that brings it down
Right.
everywhere,
Right.
right.
as opposed to reallocating what's coming to Pasco County, which is the other step.
So that's my
That's not
question.
happening.
So did Pasco County in this calculation, when they got their lower allocation, they take that and then they apportion it to the cities?
So the interlocal agreement we have with Pasco County is for the sales tax in the county. That's a totally different thing that goes to the general fund. This is penny for Pasco. This is that half-cent sales tax that they voted on last November, and it got adopted again. That's what gets appropriated to us, and it comes from the state. But we have an interlocal agreement with the county that we get a certain portion, where Richey gets a certain portion. This is penny for Pasco only. The other sales tax is general fund money.
But
That hasn't changed.
But the appropriation or the allocation to the cities from Pasco County has not changed.
No, the percentage has not changed. It was just that this 2% went down and we lost that.
So they did not look at that apportionment then.
We didn't also have a census change in addition to the statewide reduction, did we? That's, I think, what you're getting at, right?
No. It was just that apparently when they voted on this new tax was not coming through. They repealed it, so it just lowered everything.
If you got all the items that are taxable and now some items are not taxable, we got a smaller tax to allocate
distribute
across. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about.
Yes. Yeah, this is penny for Pasco. I apologize.
Yeah.
So there's penny for Pasco, which is a half-cent sales tax. That's what we buy all our infrastructure or big items with. And then there's the sales tax that goes into the general government. That has not changed.
But potentially, people could spend higher than what they're estimating.
Correct.
And the actuals are what actually dictates
Right.
what comes in.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, this is just an estimate. Sure.
Right.
Any other questions on that? That stinks. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, $40,000 is a lot of money to lose anywhere, to be honest with you. Then we talk about the 25-26 outlook for penny for Pasco. This was before that. So if our projected revenues are now 704, 917. We have a proposed budget of around 1.8 million, 1.792 million. Our reserve drawdown on that would be, 1,043,000, and then projected after that would probably be around $400,000 in our coffers. So I only put that in here, and I put the sloth in here to say maybe we slow down our spending. We need to stay somewhere in around that $700,000 mark every year going forward.
Because we're $44,000 less.
We're getting $44,000 less this year.
Right.
And then a summary of balancing actions. Personnel cost overages offset by operating reductions. I spoke about that earlier. Capital needs adjusted for cash flow and priority, which I believe we've done that, and that's what we're here to talk about today. And then the reallocations ensured no new appropriations needed from our reserves and stuff like that. So we're in good shape with what we have. Key items to monitor. The police baseline increases for future years. I know we're going to PBA negotiations this year. Keep those in mind with what we got. Our insurance cost trends are, going up in the double digits, so we keep an eye on that. Penny for Pasco revenue drawdowns, we need to keep an eye on that. Fire truck debt servicing ramp up. So again, we now added that to our debt services from penny for Pasco. And then our life cycle planning for vehicles everywhere, really. So we need to look at the life cycle on those things and kind of do that appropriately. And that is just, not saying that we don't need these things. It was just saying, hey, we need to be more cognizant that we don't have a pocket full of money sitting somewhere to help offset those things.
Question on that last one.
Yeah.
Do you have a capital ledger for all of the city assets?
So
Departments. I know police is doing that. I'm assuming that fire and utility is doing the same with all their vehicles, showing that they've got a maintenance schedule. They know that they've got to perform oil changes and
Right.
whatever, tires, whatever it is. But
So
kind of snapshot as to the state of each vehicle and when it reaches a point of obsolescence, whether it's incurred too much repair costs and that kind of thing.
So the only thing we have in the finance department, we have an asset module that we keep our assets.
Asset ledger.
But it doesn't attribute
No.
that kind of thing to it. So I don't have that. Now going forward, the plan is we're introducing this new kind of purchasing / utility role that we're hoping that we can put that in where we keep track of that in one ledger and one database. So the police would send theirs and fire, and that way it takes that off of them, and we kind of keep that there. And that way, when we come to you guys, we have that answer. Hey, we had this vehicle; it needs to be. It's time to let it go, and it's costing us X amount of dollars. We do need that. It's something we don't have currently, but it is something in the works, and we understand that it's a priority going forward.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you got it on your goals for 2000.
Yes, we're working on it.
You got to be thinking about it. And it looks like you are, so that's good.
We're dealing with it. You know,
Yeah, I see that.
that's me actually.
I've actually reached out to McKim Creed, one of their engineers, Allison, who we work with on some other things. I talked to her about asset management plans,
Right.
and she's an expert at that. And so I'm going to meet with her. I think it's next week. I'm supposed to sit down with her and talk about that.
So am I.
So
Oh, you want to join us?
No, well, I don't
I'm a
know if you can afford it.
cheap person. I don't like paying for things that we don't need.
You're
My
also
previous job was as a manager.
So anyway, I don't like paying for things we don't need. Doing this thing is kind of it's going to be a daunting task for everybody to keep that in mind. He is talking to somebody. I kind of agree that maybe we get something that keeps it more automated for us, and can kind of something that the police wouldn't have to bring us anything. They can fill those in themselves, or Jackie or whoever back there can do that, and the fire department can do the same thing, and it just come to one central location so that we have it and we know what we're doing and stuff like that.
Or that
Yeah,
serves that function.
right.
There's other things, and other than that, we need to know where all our pipes are, condition of our pipes and roads, and
Daryl's working with a company, Civic Plus, I think, right now, trying to get that in place.
Right.
My only concern with that is our software lines right now need to be under control. So we have a lot of software right now that we're overlapping in what we do. We have a software line for work orders out in utility. We pay for one with our software line we have right now. So there's overlap in a couple of things we do. We need to streamline that and make that better, so we're not paying for things we don't need. So when you start adding these things, we're not just adding $12,000 a year. We're taking away $8,000, maybe adding $12,000, and we can offset that $4,000 some way. But we need to understand what we're paying for right now, and it was hard to do that with the way we were handling things before, especially between different departments. With this, we can get with George and we know what we're paying for, where it's going, and if we have any overlap, can we fix that? And we do need these other things like Civic Plus for outside, because it'd be hard for me to keep track of all the pipes and how old they are and if they're asbestos ridden or whatever the case may be. That needs to be something that needs to be handled by its own little organization. But also the cars in here need to be one of those things too, because you're not asking me about the age of pipes, you're asking me about cars and things like that, and that's what we need to have an answer for going forward. So we're working on that.
well, and if we had a pipe map, then we could see that, hey, we know the south side needs pipes, so much in pipes, and start allocating for that
Right.
and planning.
Yeah, and I think going forward, this is kind of where we need to be. Like, I think we threw money at things and said, hey, we need to do this, and we don't do it. And when we have a plan and things like that, I think that we need to stick to those plans and move forward with it. Because this is where you're getting this, $12 million in reserve funds, is we're not following through with our plan. So when we come to you and want to ask you for something, or if utilities come and ask you for something, well, you didn't spend $4 million of your capital improvement last year, and so we need to have a plan. We need to follow through with it, and that's where we, as a finance department, need to step in and help with that also, because they have other things to do. So it's our job to make sure we do that. And I think this next year we have a plan to fix that. So we will fix that. And again, I think what we've implemented with the PO system and stuff, our revenues are showing that it's working, and we're not willy-nilly spending. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, but we can get better. And I think streamlining those things is the way we do that. And that's working together with the police and the fire and utilities and making sure we have those things in place so that when you ask me, I'm not like, I don't know, so I want to know. So, but that's about it. Do y'all have any questions on that? I mean, everything is kind of the same as it was before. We have that 3% increase for salaries, fixed the police department. And, like I said, it only messed our budget up $3,500. So I think that's a very good thing. Mr. Mayor, you good?
if I may. Good. I'm proud of the work we've done, and where we can not only lower the millage rate, but slightly actually lower taxes. In fact, if the council agrees to the 6.29, took a lot of figuring. I really commend Adam and his department for the hard work on this. I'm very comfortable with the level of reserves. The governor is actually going around the state and making sure people aren't holding on to too much reserves. And, otherwise, maybe you're feeling overtaxed. So I don't think we're overtaxed. I think we're lean, and we can spend some of these reserves on good projects that improve the city. So I think we're well positioned to do that. And some of the,
And I think this budget helps to do that. I mean, sometimes in your life, even in your personal life, you have to sit back and say, okay, let me eat ramen for a couple months. This allows us to really sit back and, as a finance director, I kind of do now, but I can really hold people to the fire. Why are we spending this? What do you need it for? Things like that. And that way, when we make our budgets and we do things, we have a better understanding of where this money goes, where it comes from. And tight years really, really do that. And I don't think you can get any tighter than we are right now with where we're at.
but then the last couple of pieces of the puzzle are the health insurance, which we've got the special meeting Thursday. I appreciate everybody helping us out with that. But whichever way we go, we're down to within the planned budget. We allotted 17, as high as 17, and it looks like we're going to secure something at 14 or slightly less. So, and then is liability and property still out?
We increase that. We're all good on there.
So that met budget too. So I think we're in good shape. Again, we'll look to do even better next year, but with more predictability with asset management plans and having a pipe map and plans on when we're camera in and smoke checking and cleaning, get on schedules for scheduled maintenance in every area.
Before we get into actual CIP, I know you guys have questions on what we're spending and why we're spending it. Before we get into that, we do need to kind of solidify our budget hearings, our first and our second budget hearing. And I know we're at the mercy of the school board, and I think we found 2 dates that work for us. They're Thursdays at 5:30, and it's September 4th and it's September 18th. Those are both on Thursdays at 5:30. Does that sound doable for everybody?
September 4th and
18th.
18th. Mm-hmm. So those are off council weeks.
It stays in cadence with previous
Yeah.
years. So.
That work with everybody?
And this gives us a little time. The 18th gives us a little time if we have to fix anything. We just
Right.
bring it back before you guys.
Fourth, and there's a possibility I won't be here on the 18th, but I can always zoom in.
As long as we have 3 here. So, Bob, when do you get back?
I get back on the 8th.
Of August?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll be here in September?
Well, yeah, I got a meeting Monday with Andy, so yeah.
Monday the 10th.
Of September?
So,
So
we're way over.
we're asking about the budget hearings, September 4th and 18th. You'll be in town for those?
September 14th?
4th and 18th.
Yeah, no problem. That's Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday 4th, Thursday 18th. It's the off council weeks.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, yeah, because Chris, he'll be remote. We've got to have at least 3 council people here, and Dave's obviously leaving at the end of the month, and so his replacement, whoever that is, would possibly be here as well. But if we got myself, you, and Lisa committed, we should be good.
Well, what time?
5:30.
Well, you're going to have a new person.
Well, we don't know what their schedule's going to be. Maybe they're out of town. That's what I'm saying. We're probably okay, but I'm just seeing what Bob's doing because we know his schedule. All right.
Keep in mind too, you're going to need to appoint a new person for the Tampa Bay Regional Planning.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay. I think we're good for.
Those 2 work?
Yep.
All that.
Or your passport, so they're more likely
Yeah,
to.
rest of it. Can't leave town.
I just need a confirmation because I have to let TBT know this for the second hearing as well. So
Yeah.
that's perfect.
So.
Okay, so I'll start with my stuff, and then the other departments can run through their CIP and explain to you why they need it.
Okay.
So for the general government, in building maintenance, we have replaced an air conditioning unit. We had this in last year's budget. We did not do that. I put it in there again. I think we should go ahead and replace that out there. I think for energy efficiency and things like that.
Yeah, I concur. Just on the fact that this building is going on its 25th, 26th year. It's good to have at least 1 unit in reserve in case we have to start swapping them out. So maintenance-wise, we do have a maintenance program every year for all the air conditioners in the building. They come out twice a year to make they blow out all the lines. The filters are changed every quarter. So it's just they're getting to a point where we might have to start changing out units. So we like to keep at least one in case we need the money for it.
Am I looking at it here? What, we just gonna talk through what am I looking at here?
Well, this one should be in there. Hold on one second.
Something,
Yeah, this one should be in the council packet.
16, the police department replace old worn out air
okay.
conditioning.
All right, hold on, look, I'm not.
Yeah, page 16.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got mine in front of me, so I didn't go through the thing. Yeah, page 16.
But what happened to the?
Going out of order, I guess.
Okay.
Charlie Brown. So there's like multiple over there on the police side.
Would it be better, Adam, to cover these in order they are in the packet, or you?
And that 40.
We can do that.
Why don't we do that? Just
Okay.
so people follow along. So let's go to page 8 and talk about the remote well field generator first.
Okay. And Daryl's not here, and he'll back up what I say. I had a conversation with Daryl, but the remote well field generator is part of the 5-year plan. It was 2 years. This is the last year. It's the last $62,100 that's in that plan. It's just to upgrade the.
Spent 60 grand last year.
We did.
Okay. And we got a follow-on spend of 62,100.
Yeah, and we put that in there, but talking to Sam, we don't think it will need that much money, but we put it in there just to be in case, because there is some electrical stuff and stuff we want to do that has to be done with it. So.
And what
Fine with that.
what fund did this hit?
This is coming out of the water plant.
Really?
Yeah, 400, the water plant. So none of these, this isn't out of Penny for Pasco.
Why wouldn't it come out of water? Your utility.
It is utility.
Just that particular
Yeah.
section of the utility fund.
Yeah.
There's at least 4 different breakdowns of the utility fund. You've got utility billing, you got the water plant, then you have the utility
Right, but
wastewater.
I don't see a line item for that item.
Well, it very well could be mixed in with something.
That's my point, is we should have a line item for every single one. That way we know what the spend is, right?
Well, you can't, when you put it in that line item, so if you're talking about just CIP stuff, you'd have to make a line item that says well-filled generator to do that. So.
In other words, at the end of the day, we ought to be able to reconcile what's in our GL to that schedule that shows all of our capital spend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, in a perfect world, that's exactly what you should do. But the thing is, our system doesn't allow us to do that. Right now, we are out of not organization, but object codes.
Okay.
I couldn't. That was when I was talking on the phone this morning. I already talked to the auditors. I was about changing some of those object codes, but because they can go back, anybody could ask for anything. It's hard to change those object codes because you may still get audited and have to pull something back from those.
All right. So at the end of the day, we're going to be, well, I don't know.
Well, and we are, and again, this being my first actual budget I'm working on, we have gone through and made, there was some object codes that we weren't using that we did input in here, but I haven't had a chance to go through every line and make sure that if there was something we were doing that matched an object code. But yes, I agree with you.
So essentially, you're going to have a spreadsheet that ties out spends, projected budgeted spends, and if they're grouped in a single line item, you're going to know what the detail is behind.
Well, I tried to put in the notes in there, but again, the system is not great. There is some notes in there that spell it out. So like if you look for like this one right here, it says replace air conditioner unit, replace and upgrade sound and commission. I tried to do that with everything that didn't have its own breakdown line item. So I tried to do that with some of those things.
All right.
Or most of them that I could find an object code for.
But we will, at some point in time, get a schedule like that, right?
Yes, I would love to find some time to do that.
At the end of the day, in order to get to that final number, you have to have some detail to get to that final number. So they have it.
That's what I'm saying is are you pulling all this stuff,
Well, they're not just pulling it out of the air. I mean,
evidently they got support for it. I just
We'll see it somewhere. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Just
put a
your
spreadsheet
detail. I'm sure you
together
got a spreadsheet that lines all that out to get to this number.
Yes, and again, I didn't.
It says $10 million, and I want to be able to hear.
Again, I didn't pull that out because the budget is this thick, and it would take me 10 minutes to try to find that one item where we put it. I can absolutely try to document that in an Excel form for you on the budget and try to send that to you. But again, I think that all these things that I put in there, with me and Daryl went and talked about it, I did make some notes in there so that it's covered. in there on what the breakdown is.
Okay.
But you're going to have some breakdowns. It's going to have some, and then there's some CIP projects for smaller, like tools and stuff like that I didn't make a note for. So you're going to see an oddball number, and you're going to come and ask me the same question. What is that for?
So, Adam, I'm not an accountant, but you're talking about the object codes, right? And we're out of them. And so I would assume that in one object, what's an object code? Is it how many characters for each?
So the object code for like building maintenance, that would be an object code. So I could object code to building maintenance. And again,
So what is that code? Just
it's 460.
okay, so 460. So I'm assuming that if you could take whatever you do to track your detail, you could have a sub object code. So 460-A.
No,
B. No,
it doesn't allow you to do that. No, it's 460.
accounting system, but
No, yeah, if we could do that, yes.
it's something that if Dave reached out and he wanted to know where these line items were, you could have that breakdown outside the accounting system.
Yeah, we could do that.
Back. So if the question asks, where is this? You know it's in 460.
And again, the notes aren't for y'all. They're really for me. When I put those in there, because I knew you were going to ask, I put those notes in there so that I know what it is too, but also so you can look at it, because this accounting system is horrible. I agree with what he says. In a perfect world, that's the way it should be. You should have a 460, 461, because 460, if I do 460 air conditioner, 460 this, it's going to roll it up into the same thing anyway. It's not going to give you two different lines that says.
Right, but you could take the 460 and you could put police, you could put it in admin,
You put it anywhere.
utility. So now you got the ability to spread it around a little bit.
Right, we do. But in this one line, though, we have two different things in building maintenance, and it's combined it together. Without those notes, it's just $80,000. It doesn't tell you there's $40,000 for this and $40,000 for that. You have to actually go in there and make notes on it.
Building maintenance would never end up in CapEx.
Right, it's not in capital expenditure. It's in.
No, but all those forms that we were talking about add up to the capital that's in penny for Pasco.
Yeah, this is penny for. Well,
Penny for Pasco is not available for any maintenance.
so it's for, but
Only for things that have a life greater than 5 years.
correct, and that's what these things.
See no expenditures in there.
This isn't in capital. This isn't in penny for Pasco. This is out of utility. This is out of our regular fund.
Okay. But I do see operating expenditures coming through in penny for Pasco that makes me think that they shouldn't be there.
Well, everything in here is a 5-year plan, and again, I'm following suit with the way it has been for. If you look back in the operating expenditures for 19, we have actuals going back all the way to 22. So when you look at that, I mean, it is. But you could argue to an auditor that this is capital expenditure. It is. It's a huge amount of money, and it's for an upgrade to something that will last more than 5 years.
Well, then it should sit on your capital ledger.
Well, you're probably right.
And I brought this issue up in prior years, and your predecessor couldn't answer the question. So my concern is the way I read penny for Pasco, you have to have an expenditure that is going to be basically a capital asset. And I brought the issue up about canals and using things to do that or equipment.
You can't capitalize a canal though. So the thing is, I mean, you can.
It's a road.
It's a road. Well, I get what you're saying, but you can't capitalize. When you talk about capital asset, that's a motor that I can say, okay, this has 5 years. I put it in our capital expenditure plan. Pipes, these are things that Now the air conditioner, yes, you can capitalize the air conditioner, and you will when it comes in. But it's really part of a maintenance thing that needs to happen with the city. It's over the 5-year mark, and I mean I think we're tit for tat when it comes to capital expenditures or just operating expenditures. But I get what you're saying. If that's what you wanted to change as a collective whole, you tell me what to do. I'm following suit with the way we've done it, and this is the first conversation I've had where you don't like it like that. We can obviously change that going forward.
What I'm saying is at the end of the day, you have a document that basically explains the 5 W's, why we're acquiring this particular item of capital nature, and we have a good story to tell, rather than, we just want it, right? I want to make sure there's a legitimate need. That's my only concern. And then maybe go back and look at these items that you have in here for maintenance. Should we have maintenance items in penny for Pasco?
I agree with you. If you want that changed, I mean, I can change that. Expenditures and capital expenditures is, when you look at it as a capital expenditure, a car is a capital expenditure. I understand a air conditioner is capital expenditure. Again, these things were placed in here, and I could argue it that it's an operating expenditure. It is. An air conditioner is an operating expenditure. It's part of your building. It's the way it is. We're not buying a new building. We're not buying a new motor. We're buying a new thing, and we will capitalize it. And I mean, I think it's pulling hairs at this point on where it goes. Okay. But we can fix it if that's what you want. We can fix that. It's not a problem. I mean, I don't know that I would want to go back and fix it in this budget because it affects 10 different lines. But going forward, if that's the way it wants to be spelled out, and this commission wants it, we can absolutely do it that way.
Okay.
Good on that one?
Yeah.
The second thing, I believe
The production well 1 through 8.
yes. So that's an $80,000 spend that is coming out of the utility fund. We did spend $150,000. That was a pretty recent purchase, I do believe. Me and Daryl sat down and made the purchase order for it. So we're spending $80,000 on that this year to follow through with the capital expenditure plan.
Why are we not putting the funding sources in the blank? Is there a reason that we left that?
That was Daryl. We did. Okay, so truthfully, I wasn't part of this last year. This was Matt did most of this. So when I got here, I was working on hurricane stuff and stuff like that. So I wasn't part of this part of it. So the way I've always done capital expenditures and budget meetings it was a little different. I was planning on doing it my way. I was sent these things and say, hey, this is the way we want it. So I was up against a wall trying to get these things done. So of course I had I couldn't even find this report, so I had to kind of recreate it, and then he sent it to me it was a jam job is what this is.
Right.
Everything that is in here is inside the budget.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll do better next year.
So for this capital improvement plan project, didn't Matt generate these or?
It did.
Yeah, okay.
It did.
And I do like the funding source because that way the account or the source is coming from. In the description down here, the sustainability would allow a city to produce its own potable water as opposed to purchasing from another city at a higher rate of cost. Do we know what we spent last year on this stuff for buying water and how this would offset? That stuff should self-sustain. And so those numbers should reflect the amounts that we won't be spending as a result of this $80,000 spend, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, and we have an account that tracks the spend from purchasing water, right? We know what we spent for purchasing water, right?
Correct.
So having that information there, when you compare, let's say we spent $100,000 and spending this $150 and this $80 subsequent year, it's going to make that go to zero, for example. Right. So that's an $80,000 reduction in perpetuity, right?
Right.
So basically in 2.5 years, you got full payback on that thing. So those are the kinds of things that send the signal, hey, this is a worthwhile thing to do. You got a 2.5 year payback. You're looking at what you're spending. You're looking at what you're not spending. And now you're doing the comparison, and it's easy to make a quick decision. This is a green light. I
assume that this is year 2 of this plan, and you guys approved that plan. I'm assuming that was explained to you guys when you guys agreed to spend this in the first place.
It never was.
and that's probably true. So again, these are things that we can definitely
work on
going forward
for improvement.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
No. Next one would be the Super Richey lift station.
Yeah, so this is another $100,000 for the lifts.
Before we move ahead real quick, could that come out of the impact fund?
The
rehab
for water wells?
Well, I think the water impact is for greater. You have to make it greater consumption.
Well, it is.
You're going from
add a well. That'll be.
Wait a minute. It's greater because we don't have that capacity. We're adding something to add capacity. We're buying outside water, so now we're adding capacity internally.
Well, no, they're basically redoing.
Yeah, it's a rehab. I mean, unless we were
They're fixing what we have.
yeah, and unless we were taking it from a
More.
Well, you're not going to produce more.
Yes,
you're
we
going
are.
to
We're not
produce
gonna
what it
be-
should be producing.
We're not going to be buying extra water.
right. Well, you're calling it rehab. I mean, we're not calling upgrade. We're not calling it. We're not saying we're taking it from an 800,000 gallon water tank to a $900,000 water tank. That may suffice for the fact that we're yeah
Capacity. The tire in the car, Dave.
yeah.
What's that?
This is a rehab.
Tire in the car.
Not necessarily. We're buying extra water. By doing this, we don't have to buy
But if
extra water.
if you're buying extra water because the stuff you have isn't producing what it's supposed to be
That's
producing.
right. By fixing it, it does produce.
That's right. So you're not upgrading it. You're
No,
fixing. You're
we've got
bringing it
diminished-
back to its original production value.
But we've got diminished capacity over time. We're rehabbing this thing to produce what it's supposed to, so we don't have to buy.
Yeah, so you're not increasing anything. If it at one time produced 230,000 gallons and it's only going to produce 230,000 gallons, you haven't increased it.
Just one more gallon so that we can make it fit into this.
You're not going to rewrite the way impact fees.
But if
are.
your tire's flat on your car and you just go rent a car, you're paying for a car. If you fix the tire, it doesn't increase anything on that car, but you don't have to rent one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We want to use impact fees when we can, but
I get that.
I don't see that this is.
Well,
Well, those
looking at.
if the impact fees really we have these water projects. There's no reason why if we pull we have money for it. We already have the set asides for it. If we pull these up, why we couldn't take that impact money and fix other things in the ground with that impact fee money.
Right.
So there's ways to spend it.
Those impact
All
fees. That's for sure.
Lift stations. So this is to replace pumps, control panels, float valves, check valves. This is part of that 5-year plan. Another $100,000 to make sure we have all 48 or 46 of our lift stations up to date. Is that right?
and that's coming out of penny for Pasco.
This one is coming. I believe this is.
Regular budget.
I believe this is coming out of utilities. This is utilities as well. So there is some in here coming out of penny for Pasco that's going into the grant fund to help with our costs.
And this is above and beyond the $1 million lift station appropriation.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. This is just for us to go out and fix them in the $1 million, whatever they have planned for that $1 million. Yeah. This is take care of the rest of it or whatever.
I see bigger, more efficient pumps. That sets off that impact. Bigger pumps, more capacity
Yeah, that
under
That makes some sense.
sustainability. You know, the other thing that this story, if we knew what the repairs were in the previous year and stuff like that, you could compare. But and you're going to 3-phase, which you reduce electric consumption doing that as well.
Right.
So that's all good stuff.
And then we have the vehicle replacement program for Daryl. So I put enough money in there throughout all of his funds to purchase one vehicle. So I
Do the fire department next if we skip ahead.
let's
After you're done with this one, just,
okay.
if you can let us be the next department, so I can let Tom go.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, so yeah, this is just replacing one truck, and we have that built into the one this year. The 76,000. So normally, what happens is he takes some of that out of utility and some of that out of penny for Pasco. But
Okay.
yeah, so this year we didn't place hardly any money in there for penny for Pasco, but I did put enough in there throughout all the three funds to purchase one vehicle. So it was about $70,000. There is, after reducing the cars for this, there is $30,000 in car purchase over there. So if he can find two trucks that would come out to be, $100,000, then he can buy two trucks. But right now, what we built in there really is enough for one vehicle, and that's out of the utility fund.
Okay.
Also, it'd be a good idea to put what his current inventory looks like so that you kind of see where this fits in. If this comes in, something goes away.
What's that?
Does something go away out of this?
Yeah, so he has some older trucks that'll be
So this is where looking at the whole picture
We can check.
would be beneficial to everybody.
How tight you are.
We're not allowed to have one.
I thought I made.
Yeah. Do you need one?
I'll share with him.
Okay, so we'll talk about the fire department now. So the first one here is for a 21-foot fire response boat for 100
On each project. Look at the next one.
Tom. Yeah.
Adam, do you want me to talk about what we're going through with our presentation of our slides that we have?
Do you have presentations?
Yeah, it's just a couple,
Yeah.
basically it's an overview
It's
of
right up.
the exact thing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Did you say go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. How you guys doing? I apologize that I'm remotely. I wish I could be there, but trying to take care of some stuff. So you'll see on the board there, Ashley, if you don't mind clicking through it. So the first thing that in our presentation that we have for our capital improvements, this capital improvement we're doing is following our 5-year and 6-year plan that we set about 3 years ago. So everything that you see inside this plan is something that we addressed about 3 years ago. We even developed a plan, and we said, hey, what are our needs? Where do we see that our department in the future, being fiscally responsible? This took care of what we refer to as the capital improvement side. There was obviously other needs of making sure we retain employees, training, and everything else. So this came down to the needs. So this wasn't something that we just threw together. This was something that we knew that this was the plan. So the first thing you'll see on there is the fire station needs assessment. In 2024 and 2025, we budgeted $50,000. That $50,000 took care of facility site planning, systematic floor plans, full color perspectives, everything we're currently working on that you guys already approved. But we only spent $35,000 on that. So we had we kind of over budgeted on that. When speaking with the individuals again, they're like, hey, we should probably budget about another $35,000. And what this year we're hoping to take care of in those needs is the community risk assessment, our service area analysis, stakeholder input, energy efficient sustainability planning, and utilities and infrastructure reviews to make sure that what we're doing can do those. So that's one of our CIPs for Penny for Pasco. Any questions on?
I have a question. So, so out of the 50,000, you only spent 35. So, are we spending the other 15, or because I thought the 35 was included with the 50, make it 85. So we don't. You only spent 35, so we have $15,000 left over out of that.
Yeah, that's what we referenced about because of the lighting package coming in over, like we talked about about $4 extra $1,000 because of tariffs and everything. That's what we were going to ask to do the budget transfer on, like we discussed.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So we only need 20 instead of 35, right? So just
Well, we're
We're asking for $35,000 this coming fiscal year. We budgeted $50,000 last fiscal year. We spent $35,000 of the $50,000 to get us to where we are. That took care of facility site planning. So our floor plans that we're working on currently are full color perspectives, conceptual estimates of how much we think this project is going to cost us, the geotechnical and contaminant services on the properties that we look at.
and the 15,000. I think he wants to reappropriate to something else this year.
He said, he just explained their things.
Yeah, so you guys are aware that discussion and one after the lighting package for the F-250 truck.
Yes.
okay.
Came in. We didn't change anything, just unfortunately
Because of tariffs.
the way things are and
Higher.
tariffs, everything being put on it, even though it's built in the United States. Components don't come from elsewhere. It's the price came back a little bit more on the lighting than what we budgeted for. And part of that too is we budgeted for a Dodge 2500, and Mr. Koppler at the time suggested that we stick with the Ford just for sustainability of the truck. So the truck costs a little bit more than what we anticipated also. But it's not going to eat up all that $15,000. We're well within our whole overall budget. It's just we might need to offset a little bit one line item from another line item to do a budget transfer.
Okay.
but there won't be any additional funds. We'll actually be giving money back and paying for Pasco this year. Any questions on the fire station needs assessment?
No.
This 35 is in your current budget?
Yes.
Yeah, the 35 about what we put in. The next one you're going to see is small equipment for $41,129. Where we came to that number is roughly $16,100. 129 of that is for firefighting saws, fire hose, fire hand tools, a vehicle pedal color, which you see a picture of that, portable lighting, and electric vehicle firefighting equipment. Our fire hose, we have it set on a replacement schedule, so we never don't have fire hose. So it has a 10-year cycle. Sometimes hose gets obviously damaged before the 10-year life. Most of our large diameter hose, it doesn't get used as often, just gets exercised. Has the longest life to it, but our attack hose that we use for brush fires and structure fires and all that stuff sometimes have some burn mist through it. So an average section of an 1 3/4 hose probably goes for about $250 to $300, believe it or not, for a 50-foot section. So where we came with the $16,000 asking for a saw, battery operated saw, to switch from there. Just basic firefighting hand tools, replace ones that break and all that other stuff. The vehicle paddle cutter, which is that one, is roughly about $8,000 itself. And then electric vehicle firefighting equipment, obviously, like I said before, changing. We're dealing with electric vehicles and e-bikes more often. So it kind of really deals with anything, kind of dealing with the lithium-ion batteries, which had a pretty significant increase after the flooding. In addition to that is $25,000 that equipment that we asked for is for dry suits for firefighters during water rescues and flooding responses. One of the issues we seen during Hurricane Helene was we only had 3 dry suits for the whole department because we typically didn't have to have a good number of the firefighters in dry suits. Typically we have 3 guys on per shift. Those 3 dry suits are varying size, everybody shares. Some are fit a little baggy, some fit a little tight. The problem we had was we needed everybody to have dry suits. Some people had waders on. And waders are designed for that, just wading in the water. They're not designed to actually go in the water and retrieve people like we were doing. So some of our guys were couldn't do to be able to conduct those rescues and flooding things. So we're looking to do dry suits for firefighters. And again, we're going to buy a variety of sizes, common sizes. Nobody's going to get one directly to them. It's going to be one size fits most, and that's what we'll do. In addition to that, it's going to be rescue PFDs, which is a certain type of personal flotation device designed to conduct rescues. Other water rescue related PPE as boots, helmets, stuff like that. As you guys know, we are one of the few departments in the area that have our a rapid diver team. That rapid diver team, we're looking at increasing that capabilities to other vehicles. So this way the boat will have a rapid diver set for a submerged or capsized boats. If a plane goes in the water, something along those lines, those guys will go in. And then replace the inflatable rescue boards that we lost this past fiscal year. Any questions on the small equipment?
I have a question for you.
Mike.
I've got a question for you. On the handheld hearse thing there, is that thing waterproof? Can you go underwater with it?
That one is, so all of our tools currently, that's why the first can go underwater. That is one that currently right now isn't going to go underwater, but they told us by the next FDIC, they'll have a model that can go underwater. So we budget, because they don't know exactly how much it's going to be, that we budgeted for what they assume the cost would be of that, which could be a little bit more and a little bit less, but that's okay, because, you know, if we have to maybe not get a section of hose or something like that, we'll figure it out. You know, we always do. We don't ever go over our paying for past expenditures. But yes, that will be something eventually that can go underwater.
I don't think they make one yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're working on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Exactly. No problem. Thank you. Next slide. So the next slide is our safety equipment. The NFPA has a 10-year, which is National Fire Protection Association, has a 10-year replacement cycle on all of our gear. So what we did was we got a list of everything and looked at how much gear is going to be going out of service in the future in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. We found out that an average replacement of 6 sets. So you'll see everything here. There's going to be 6 helmets, 6 sets of boots, six sets of, an average of 6 sets is going to be going out of service on the 10-year replacement cycle. That doesn't take into consideration if there was to be something damaged due to an unforeseen circumstance, a call, something that we didn't refer to as. So the safety equipment for $18,522 is something that we put in a while ago. We've been doing it every year. And that addresses replacing and updating anything that's done out of date. Our fire helmets, our fire gloves and hoods, our firefighting boots, our brush and vehicle accident gear. As you know, we had, I think in our presentation, close to 74 brush fires last year within the city. So that gear allows us to stay with the firefighting gear and the wear and tear on the firefighting gear, walking through trees and bushes and everything. And that average set of gear costs about $2,000 to replace, compared to a set of upper gear that costs about $5,500 to replace. So that allows those guys, and also limits the guys kneeling or stepping in gasoline or something that's leaking from a vehicle accident. And it's part of the cancer prevention initiatives, where we're trying to limit our firefighters being in their gear as much as possible, because of the fact that every time we put them in that gear, it puts them more and more to those carcinogens to that side. So you'll see the next thing says cancer prevention equipment and SCBA equipment. Any questions on that?
Yeah, Tom, how many spares do you have?
How many what?
How many spares? I mean, because things can happen.
Yeah, so right now,
So does this include spares that you would need?
We have about 2 sets. Well, I should say about 2. We could outfit 3 firefighters right now if we lost a gear. All of our firefighters, so we're okay on that we can outfit a whole shift. God forbid something was to be completely outfit. We probably have a little bit more gloves and hoods. I should say we do have a lot more gloves and hoods. I have our exact inventory on that. So our exact inventory, we like to keep roughly 10 pairs of every size in stock of, now obviously not boots, but 10 pairs of gloves and hoods, because those are common things that get destroyed in there. And then we try to keep at least one size of every bunker boot. So right now we have about 12 bunker boots on hand of common size, because some guys wear 13, so we have 113 or 213 on that side.
But you feel like you have enough?
The scary part to answer that question, the scary part to it is that bunker gear is size dependent. So, and it's extremely expensive. So we hate to go buy extra sets of bunker gear and then find out that nobody fits in those sizes, or those sizes aren't who we need. We had 2 peanuts that worked for us a couple of years ago, these tiny little girls. We had to buy gear for them. Buying extra gear of that size, is kind of a waste. So we try to weigh the weight between buying the most average common size gear, and then if we have issues, we have an emergency backup for common size. But if we have somebody that comes in that's a peanut or a bigger person, then we just have to special order those, and it is what it is.
And you can get that fairly quickly if you need it?
Well, it depends. COVID killed us. Yeah. So
Is peanut a technical term?
it's a hard balancing act for us. It's something that, and we don't really know how to resolve it. You know what I mean? Other than spending a bunch of money, that we'd hate to do that and have the gear sitting there and nobody need it.
Right.
So it's hard.
But if you do need it, we want you to have it.
And we do have it to where if currently all our career firefighters, if something was out with their gear, we can outfit them with gear until their replacement gear comes in. So that's not something that we're worried about on that. And it runs into a couple tiers of part-timers gear were destroyed that we might have to get a little creative. But that's why we have partnerships with local departments. And if we have to, we just have the bars and stuff and some new stuff comes in.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Very good. You can move on.
Okay. So the next one is going to be our. You guys should see it's a fire gear capital outlays. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Hello.
Yep, you're good.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Thanks, Al. I appreciate it. One thing that happened this year is a Florida law, specifically House Bill 929, requires all fire departments to purchase gear free of what we call PFAS, which are perfluorinated some cancer substances. So the state has gone and said, hey, look, if you've got bunker gear that have PFAS in it, you need to make your firefighters aware by writing them a letter saying, hey, look, your gear has PFAS in it. Luckily, the gear that we've been getting is PFAS free except for one liner, which is a moisture barrier. But the gear you'll see in front of you coming up here for this coming budget year will be PFAS free. So this will be the first set of gear that we're buying that's completely PFAS free. Be one of the few departments around the area that's actually started a process already. Some fire chiefs are just waiting. But we replaced 6 sets of gear to keep up with the replacement cycle. And we'll be complying with House Bill 929 that requires the fire department to start replacing its PFAS-free gear. Every year we replace 6 sets. One year we were only unfortunately able to replace 4 sets because of a significant increase after COVID in materials. But we feel good with what we've been. The gear we're purchasing has one of the highest cancer prevention initiatives out there. And we've gotten our gear from a study that was completed by the City of Orlando Fire Department that spent millions of dollars on firefighter stresses, wearability, how good does the gear hold up over time, how good does it land. Lion gear is the one that came out on top. So we said, why reinvent the wheel? Let's do this. If we can, it's being fiscally responsible and we can maintain this, and we give our the highest level industry standard cancer prevention in our fire gear. Because unfortunately we can't afford and don't want to be able to have a washing machine truck show up on site and wash this gear and you guys get that. So what we've done is we went out there and looked for alternative fiscally responsible ways, and this is what we've come up with. So it's around $5,500 a set for the bunker gear, and that will be replaced. So after this fiscal year's purchase, this next fiscal year, every one of your career firefighters will be in PFAS-free gear and complying with the state's House Bill. If you chose to do this.
Thank you.
With that, hey, did they, with all the lawsuits, PFAS and whatnot, and these mandates, you guys, I'm assuming there's potential grant opportunities to help do some of this stuff. Do you guys look at that? Or
I'm sorry, Mayor, I didn't hear you.
With all the stuff around PFAS, I didn't know if there's any grants out there that could. And I know you guys are good at going out and looking for those, but I didn't know if there's anything. Obviously, it's a hot topic. I would assume there's some money out there to help re-outfit some of these things.
So because the PFAS, we've met with our grant person, Christine Wolf, who's been helping us tremendously. Who got us the trailer, got us the gear washer, the ALS equipment. The problem they were having, this is a Florida-specific law, not a federal-specific law. So right now, for to go after AFG funding and use this as the catalyst for it, for lack of better terminology, this is just a specific law to the state of Florida. But I'm sure in the future, and as soon as we do, we will definitely be trying to hit that funding on that.
Yeah, I don't know if we lawsuit stuff that I know we're still pursuing that. I think. Are we keeping track of our? Is this something we need to add to our costs to mitigate?
I can look into it. I don't think that it envisioned that. I think that was more about the treatment of the water itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think anything that we spend regarding PFAS, we probably need to try to include that.
I'll look at it.
Thanks.
Tom, you want to go to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, actually. So the next one is the capital outlay purchase for a fire rescue specific boat. Again, this is part of our 6-year plan that we set about 3 years ago, looking at the needs. Just to kind of give you a brief history on our water rescue capabilities, our department is we constantly have a boat captain on duty on our fire truck. So we never make sure that the fire truck is left without a captain, so we can deploy the boat 24/7, 7 days a week. In addition to that, we also have rapid divers and surface water rescue capable people on top of those boats. So since providing water rescue capabilities, we've had 80 marine unit responses and 103 water rescues. So the reason why we're asking for a vote is I don't want to sound negative towards the current vote that we share with the police department. But we were put into a thing by the city council. Obviously none of you guys were on the council at the time, where they wanted to have a joint venture vote. Unfortunately, the vote at the time, the fire department had no input on for rescue capabilities. So the reason why we're looking for a purpose-built rescue boat is I've listed some things out here. One is a hydraulic jet plane. Currently, our boat doesn't have a hydraulic jet plane, which limits us. A boat's available 24/7 and not time dependent to launch. Low size. So the pictures you guys see on there are what we're looking to ascertain. Low sides for victim retrieval, stable when leaning over the side of a boat. 7. Right now, we have to move back and forth from every call inside the boat, which can slow our response times. The ability to transport a spinal immobilized patient, which is a backboard. You'll see on that bottom slide where the backboard fits right down there, so the firefighters can do CPR, can ascertain a patient, can treat the patient when we're bringing the patient in. You know, we don't want to just pick the patient up and bring them in real quick. We also want to be able to give them advanced life support sustainability from the immediate time that we get them. Room for placement of the fire pumps. These boats, there's room for placement of the fire pumps. The side levels currently can't accommodate a hose going over the side and do that. So that's why we want to be able to get this boat, is that we'll be able to put a fire pump over the side and use that. Dual boat response. One thing that, I know that it's going to be brought up is, hey, we have a police boat, you guys share a boat. But there's an industry standard on dual boat response. Everybody, the joke is boats break down. So how we are able to do that is be able to have potentially a dual boat response. Our design shared boat, the boat is only available when tides are about 1.5 foot. The fire department has 0 input. There's bait wells, rod rollers, stuff that really makes it not able to be handled. High gunnels are for 2 firefighters to get the patient and control the boat. The boat lists heavy when leaning on one side or another to get patients into the boat. No placement for mobilized patients. Hard to approach other boats in rough season weather conditions. No subside, and then obviously no hydraulic jack thing. We're asking for $105,000 to complete this task.
Does the sheriff's department have a couple of rib boats?
The sheriff's department has currently a safe boat, which looks like a rib boat, but it's a what is that, like a foam?
Yeah,
Right?
it's a soft side, but I think it's foam filled soft side.
Yeah.
Just the same functions of what you're asking for a boat like this, right?
Yeah, correct. The only downfall is that boat, if we were to go with a safe boat, it's probably about $350,000. So
if you get a call and you say you need 2 boats, would the sheriff's Pasco County be assisting you, or would you be assisting them, or Coast Guard?
It depends on where it's at, Councilman.
Any or all of the above.
If it's in our jurisdiction, then of course we're going to call them asking for help. If they need the additional assistance on their end, they can call us and ask for help. There's times when there's a lot of times we're the only available vessel because a lot of rescues happen at night. If you were to zero down at night, and of course when it's rough weather. So typically patrols being conducted typically aren't being done at night or during rough weather. With everybody, because the adage is to head in and people should be heading in. So that's what this boat would be capable of doing. So I guess it would be assisting both sides.
Well, I see most of the rescues I see out there is the sheriff's open fishermen running out there all the time. Most of the rescues I see, I know that the other boat has been out there and has performed rescues. I guess what I'm getting at is we're helping Newport Richey, we're working with Pasco County. Do they assist in the funds with that, or is this something that?
So they don't assist in the funds with us with that. but they definitely assist us. I mean, there wasn't too long ago that we ran a call in our jurisdiction in Pasco County. They didn't have a boat available, so they sent us a helicopter. And the helicopter was able to find the patient out on the water quicker than we can, but we had to go get the patient from out on the water. Newport just assisted us when our boat broke down, and they've come out and get us and brought us back in, and then it brought us inside there. So I think as for everybody kind of coming together and helping for the betterment and safety of the people on the water, I think we overall help each other in a way.
Tom,
Yes.
is this the boat stripped? Is this the boat with the engine? Is this a boat with what is on it?
Is it fully rigged for 105?
I'm sorry, it's hard to hear.
Is it fully rigged for 105?
So the price for 105 is the boat with a light on the roof, with lighting. The only thing we're going to have to add is our mobile radio. This is a boat ready to go with the VHF radio set up for rescue capability.
What's the power? Motor.
What?
The motor horsepower.
So the motor horsepower, we can go anywhere between, it was a 250 or a 300, correct?
Yeah, I want to say it was a.
So
does
this come with the motor, or does it?
No, the ones we spec, the price we spec came with the motor.
That's
It was,
what I wanted to know.
it was a whole setup, just a
That's what I
picture.
wanted to know. Was it just the boat?
Yeah.
Was it the motor?
So-
Was it
Yeah.
boat-
No, it was the
boat
whole
with
setup.
Most of the gear on it.
The picture was just the most readily available, picture that showed the highlights that we wanted you to see.
Right.
So does it have a trailer? Does it have if I got a choice between a 250 or 300, I'm picking 300, but that's a $10,000 upgrade.
Of course.
Are you picking that, or?
We're going to pick the highest motor we can get
Not that big of an,
for that price
not
range.
that big of an upgrade to go to 300. It's an emergency, probably go with 300. It's only a couple.
And is it?
Yeah, Councilman Hubbard's right. It's under state contract pricing, typically with those motors. And the company that actually sells these, just so you guys are aware, we have a long relationship with the aluminum boat that Firehouse Subs bought us. The 16-foot boat is a Rescue 1 boat. That's who we'll be working with on that. Our boat that we use for flooding responses that we did all those water rescues on for the flooding, that's who we've got a relationship with them. And we've spent probably about the past 2 years looking at all the different types of vessels that are out there, pricing of different vessels, and going through trade shows, looking at what's this. So we've spent probably about 2 years looking at this to come to this area, to come to this conclusion.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
If you were to ask me today, I would tell you we can't afford it. It's just not one of those things. But what I will tell you is we are paying for a fire truck that we will hopefully get our money back on. So once we get the fire truck in here, we could take whatever we paid into that and they give it back to us to purchase a boat. I understand it's going to be a little more expensive in a year or so when we get the fire truck. But I think at this juncture in our tightness with our budget, I think that'd probably be the best way to go if you wanted a new boat. If you ask now, your financial person would tell you you can't afford it. We're overextended in penny for Pasco as it is. So that's just my thing. Not that you don't need. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you can get
Is this 105 reflected in the current budget we have in front of us?
It is, but you have to understand we only have $705,000 in income coming in, and we're spending $1.7 million. So it's what's in there right now. And again, I'm just a finance guy. I'm not going to ride on this boat. I would love to, but I'm not going to. But I mean, I would not be doing my job if I
be riding on it.
Actually, you'd be the patient if you were riding.
If you ever caught me.
So you don't want to ride on it.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you this. Now, ultimately, it's up to you guys. Yeah. I obviously don't know the actual needs out there, so I'm taking them at their word that they need it. But financially, financially you can't afford it unless you cut back on something else. I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Are we giving anything else up? Because the current boat would just become a full-time police boat. But are there any other vehicles or anything, Chief or Tom? That
Not really. They need the small one too. They
Right.
need it.
So
I think I saw her point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so let me wait a little bit. So I was on council back when we purchased the shared the resource. And I was against that purchase at the time. We had people here in the audience spoke adamantly against buying that boat. So I can tell you from a resident perspective, that was not a good purchase. Unfortunately, it went through, and so I do apologize that you guys weren't involved in that, because you should have been. That should have been a joint effort, and we should have got something that made sense for both departments, as opposed to just kind of lapping you guys on at the end. So that was definitely an issue. Again, I want to stress that was a very unpopular purchase, and unfortunately, I couldn't stop it. It was kind of rammed down the citizens' throat at that time. The other two council members that were on with me are no longer here, and that's probably part of the reason they are no longer here. So I'm in agreement with Adam here. Obviously, it's not something we really can afford. We've been cautioned to slow down on some of these purchases. I know we've been very dedicated to the fire department on other things, and we're especially even going forward, we're looking at a new fire station. I know you guys currently have 2 boats, right?
Yeah, the boat that Firehouse, the boat that Firehouse Subs got us.
Right, that's
and,
the one.
And the sub sled that I bought on the spur of the moment, because we had some extra money left over in Penny for Pasco, and that thing's been a godsend.
Right.
But it's a tiny little boat.
Yeah.
It's just something me and you can carry.
Yeah. So,
and this isn't saying not get a boat. I'm not telling you I can't get a boat. I think that the best way to do this, and so it's not coming out of our pocket today, is we wait till we get reimbursed for our the fire truck, because we're going to be $400,000 into it by the time we actually get it. You can allocate some of that money for, but I know it's going to be more expensive in a couple of years, but
it might be better as well. It might be
right. I mean, and again, people are going to hate me, but it's my, that's what I do.
Well, so I think there's obviously some. Hold on a second, Tom. So I know there's some issues that we could probably address with the current shared boat. One, a jack plate. We could definitely outfit it with a jack plate. And
I thought we ordered a jack plate. It was in the capacity. What I recall seeing on that order, there was a jack plate in there.
It's not hydraulic. He told you there's a jack plate on there, but it's not hydraulic.
Oh, is it a fixed jack plate?
Is there something else?
If that's something that's needed, that's probably $1,500 to $2,000 upgrade.
And listen, regardless, it'll help. It'll help. But I can mow my lawn with a weed eater. It doesn't make it the right thing to do.
Right.
So I can tell you that if somebody calls, we're going to get whatever boat we have available, and we're going to go out there and we're going to help them. But there's nowhere to put a patient on the boat if it's backboarded. I'm going to get them on there, and we're going to have them on the backboard, and we're going to do CPR on them. We're going to get them in there, but it's not built and designed for that. So we're using something that's not designed for what we're using it for, when we have the ability to buy something that's, listen.
But something's better than nothing.
People didn't think we needed a brush truck. And we had, I don't know, Tom, he had the number on top of his head, how many brush fires we had since we bought the thing. It's just, and I don't ask for a lot. I ask for what we need. We need a ladder truck. Everything in this city is elevated. If you go to any fire chiefs conference and you look through NFPA, they're going to tell you all across the board, this city needs a ladder truck. Everything about it is everything's elevated. And the definition of a high rise is everything higher than your highest ladder.
Yeah.
Well, 70% of the houses we have are 2 and 3 story. But we don't have the money for a ladder truck, and we don't have the place to house a ladder truck, so I would never come in here and ask you for a ladder truck. But the problem is, since I've been here, water rescue is far exceeding house fires. So we have this problem, and we do everything we can to solve the problem and help the people and protect the citizens. But I would be negligent not to tell you to come in here and say, the numbers don't lie. The statistics are right there in front of you. And we didn't even include the 116 water rescues that we did during the storm, because that was just crazy. So you add those numbers up, and it's just crazy the amount of water rescues that we run. So as your fire chief, it's just incumbent upon me to come in and lay that information out. We try to be extremely budget friendly. Yeah, there's fire boats we can buy $300,000 and $400,000. Tom and I tried to find the most cheapest thing that we could find that will do the job as safely as we could. And this is what we came up with. That's why we didn't give you like a specific spec sheet, because we know in our minds what we want. So we checked with several vendors to find out, okay, what's the general range that we could buy this boat that we need for. And that $105,000 is what we can do, what we need to do. And we could probably have 2 or 3 vendors that would bid on that at that price.
Can we get this through appropriations next year through Pasco County?
We can ask for anything.
So,
I mean, what a great option! What a great opportunity!
a passion of mine's been ascertaining a actual boat, because there's nothing more frustrating than being on shore or in a boat that you can't actually conduct a rescue on. As somebody that's been in that situation quite a few times, working for the city for over 20 years, it's a gut parting feeling, right? So we've been starting this process when Chief Paul Castry first came here. I said, look, just gonna go on. The first thing that we try to do is try to go after grant funding for a boat. The downfall to that is the city of Port Richey is not considered a port, believe it or not. Even though we have port in our name, we're not considered a port. To become a port, you have to petition the port master of the city down in Tampa. Well, it's a whole political fight to become a port, and why they probably won't let us become a port, as it's been told kind of through this, is that, hey, look, now you're going to have to comply with this rule, comply with that rule for a port, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and then that's also now going to take that money that they get for that port and be distributed amongst another organization that's in there for a port. So for getting CDG grant, not CDG, for AFG grants or anything like that, the first question is, are you a port, right? So that takes us out of that. Which led us down the road to Firehouse Subs. Firehouse Subs, unfortunately, just so you guys know, now puts a cap on all the grants of $25,000. We were one of the last grants to get that boat that we did, the flats boat that we have, the 16-foot flats. It has its limited capability, but it got us in to be able to start performing these rescues and be able to get out there. That boat was funded by Firehouse Subs for $65,000. There was no cost to the city for that. That got funded by them. Now we're getting our feet wet. We're seeing if our guys can handle this. Can we respond effectively? Can we actually conduct water rescues? Is it something we can even do without taking away from our services in there? Which led us to lead to other grants. FWC has a grant that you can apply for. The downfall is that grant limits on the usage of the boat. Can't be used if you want to use it for code enforcement, and it doesn't meet the fire rescue aspect. It meets the sheriff patrolling and everything else. So it led us down to federal funding. We got a federal boat that came in. Some of you guys might have even seen it. It was sitting at Sons of Menomere Marina. We got a federal boat. That boat, unfortunately, once we brought it in from the Federal Reserve, they gave us 2 motors, and they said, hey, look, hodgepodge these motors together and see what you can get, and push that through. Unfortunately, that bill was going to come to well over $100,000, because you have to do lighting of boat, and like the marinas were telling us, hey, this is still a federal surplus boat. We don't know what happened to the boat, what it went through. There's not much records on it. And then the other part of that is finding a motor that fits the boat. And when we got a rough estimate of how much it's going to cost, it led us to over the $100,000. Well, if we're going to do that, we might as well get a boat with a warranty on it that comes with sustainability for the city residents and be fiscally responsible. So it started leading us to this. Everything, unfortunately, leads back to the fact that it's hard to, when you're looking at this isn't a high priority thing. When there's fire departments out there, and I don't want to, we're fortunate in the fact of where we are, but there's fire departments in North Florida that are using breathing apparatuses that comply with 1990s regulations. So a lot of that money that is out there for fire departments and all that stuff, unfortunately, gets eaten up a lot, and willfully so, by communities that really can't afford to do anything for their fire department. So I'm very comfortable in saying that. Of course, you guys will always be looking for grant funding. We'll always be out there trying to get somebody other than the taxpayers to fund this. But I feel comfortable saying that if we were coming to you at this, I think still, that's why, we wanted to come to you with this last year, but we're looking at, say, hey, look, one more year, let's see what we can get for funding. Let's see if there's other opportunities out there. So I want to let you know kind of the history, sir, on where we're at. That this wasn't just something that we're like, oh, taxpayers need to fund it.
Hey, Thomas, of those 80, I'm looking at the screen, of the 80 Marine unit responses and 103 water rescues, how many of those were in our jurisdiction?
Yeah. Do you say none of them are in our
jurisdiction? How many, what percent were in our jurisdiction?
What percent were in our jurisdiction? I can extrapolate those out, but I got them extrapolated down here to 51 of those responses were on fire boat 42, 21 were on rescue boat 42. Now remember, the Marine unit that was shared with the police department has only been in service for not even a year, and we're ready to 9 responses with those.
Well, I guess the reason I'm asking is if the majority of these calls are outside of our technical jurisdiction, you know, it's a hard sell in the community that, hey, we want to purchase a resource that everybody's going to get to take advantage of, and we're going to pay for it. But in reality, it's not servicing our direct community. Obviously, we're good partners, and that's great. But we shouldn't have to fund those operations for the surrounding county and other cities. That's kind of my question.
I agree with you on that, and I feel comfortable saying that a very high number of those are in what you would call our response area.
Our response area and our jurisdiction, two separate things, right?
Ran outside of the city, believe it or not, or sometimes city residents that are like, wow, I'm so glad you guys have those. So, you know, I get what you're trying to say.
And we get help from the other people too, so why wouldn't they expect help from us?
Yeah,
That's how it works.
We do have a mutual aid agreement with the county.
That's how it works.
And I believe Newport Richey as well, right?
Yes.
Anybody in the rescue business doesn't look at the lines; they just go.
They don't. That's right.
I saw a beautiful ladder truck from Newport Richey yesterday. I'm not trying to talk getting in a ladder truck. I'm just saying, I live in a 3-story house. I want you to be able to get to me, my bedroom on the top floor. You know, you can't do that with a ladder. You know,
it's coming. Once I get the new fire station, it's coming. It's just is what it is.
Let me ask a question. I know we got appropriation for $800,000 for a fire truck. Can $100,000 be used for a fire boat to complement that? And we pay that out of that now, since we can get title to that in a short order.
No, the answer is no.
The answer is
that's
no.
what Adam's saying. Adam's saying that once we get that money and pay for that, the money we're going to use for the fire truck, we can pay for the boat. He's already agreeing to that.
Right.
Well, it's money we already spent. I mean, we're going to get $800,000. So if we spent $400,000, we get $400,000 of our money back. You know, you either put it back into Penny for Pasco. Well, we should put it back in Penny for Pasco. But I mean, that's my thing, and I know it's not I know people don't like it, but I mean, you know, I've been harping since I've started this budget that we just are overspending, and you know, it's hard to say you can't have bunker gear. It's easier to say you can't have a boat, you can't afford it. I mean, those are things that you can do.
And speaking of appropriation process, like I said, I'm getting ready to put projects forth for that. This is a relatively small purchase, right? Maybe we go with we take it out now. We go with appropriation, see if we get that funded. We could potentially have this middle of next year when those come through.
So this would be one of the things you submit for appropriations in the next budget cycle.
And I think as a backup plan, you said you're going to ask, can we get that money for the fire truck now? And if we do that, then we've got the money sitting there to take care of Gary and get them into a water rescue, which I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've seen the water loaded with people these days, and it doesn't matter where they come from. We're saving lives, man. You know, so I think it's important. But I think we need to be responsible as well and listen to the finance guy and say, hey, okay, we can do it, but probably not right this very minute, but hey, it's on the radar, and we're going to put some pieces in place to get it for you.
And I don't, like I said, it's already in the budget as it's worked up now, and I guess I think it'd be good to have, and I'd like to have it, but obviously cautionary, we're overspending.
Well, we already have to raise the dredging almost $75,000 as well. So we already at this point have to add another $75,000 to get the dredging study done, because we need almost $400,000, and so we only have $135,000 budgeted. We need to find another $75,000.
Right.
Now again, you can absolutely do that. It's up to you. But the thing is you know, we've overspending.
Okay, I guess what I was saying is if we were to leave it in there because we want to be committed to purchase at some point, we want to try to get that funded elsewhere. You know, obviously, it's going to, before it would be purchased, it has to come back to council to agree to purchase it anyway. Right. So from a budgetary perspective, if we can maybe leave it in there with hopes that we do that, and then we pursue these other options, and like I said, if we get an appropriation, whether then we can go ahead and move forward with it. If we do get some way get that $800,000 for the fire truck, and we're able to do that earlier, then maybe we can.
Well, you know, you could another suggestion. I don't like it, but it's a suggestion. We took money out of Nick's Park upgrades and left the $75,000 in there. If we wanted to from this year's budget, set aside $50,000 of that and just lower the 105 to 55,000. You have, if that's what y'all want. Those are just options for you. But again, that's, kind of where we're at. So.
Right, but that's going in, you're going into next year with this. You're thinking about $1.2 million, between $1 and $1.2 million in the penny for Pasco as a reserve going forward, cash forward.
Right.
And then you're getting another 700, so we're at 1.7. You're thinking that we're going to spend, our penny for Pasco is about 1.7, I think you'd mentioned.
So yeah, we're already 133. We have 200,000 that we're going to pull from for the dredging. We're going to go ahead and appropriate. So now we're at $333,000 of that 1.5 we spent this year, and that's buying nothing else.
Right.
That's not even paying for the truck lights for his truck or anything. So we look at that. And now we're 333,000. We have 1.5 in there. Next year we are overspent, by what, 7, 8, almost $1 million. So that with this, you're at 1 point. You've used all your. There's nothing left. And so without holding these things, you're not going to be able to buy bunker gear. You're only going to get 1 or 2. That's just the plight of it. And I get it. We all need things and we want them. And I don't think that this is something that's a want. It's probably a need. I get it. But is it something we can afford as it goes right now? No, we need to cut things back. We need to cut our land purchase back. But if you do that, so there's different quadrants of this. We can purchase more land from CRA, but that really harbors what we can do with it. So we have land purchase money in this to purchase land to be able to build stuff on, move it around, rent it out, whatever we want to do. But then you have Nick's Park that really needs to be worked on. You have $300,000 in there. So there's a lot of stuff that is almost, it's like, we need it all, but you just can't have it all. So those are some of the options. Again, the best thing I think we should do is say, yeah, we can get you a boat, but you have to wait until this appropriation comes through. If it came through tomorrow, we have $200,000 sitting here for this fire truck payment for next fiscal year, or for 27, we can use that. But we don't know if that's going to happen. And we got to think $200,000 is coming out of that $700,000 pot every year off the top. Right. So now you're only left with $500,000 to spread out between the utilities, fire, and police. And that is the argument you make at this point is, it's just like if you were at home, you need a boat, can't have a boat. It stinks. I do feel for that. But that's my argument. But again, buy a boat with the $400,000, I'm sure we'll have by the time the appropriations come through. That's my plan.
The $1 million for the fire truck. Our portion is going to be $200K. We got to flush that out next year, right? We don't get that back. We only get the 800 back
until we take delivery.
We've already flushed out the first our portion, 200,000. That came out of this year's budget. So we've already paid our $200,000 portion.
We paid that off,
and then next year we have to make another $200,000 payment, and that is where we're going to. And what do we? I'm not sure.
200,000 this fiscal year.
I don't see a disbursement of 200,000. Has it not occurred?
It's in a PO. It's been PO'd.
You haven't booked it yet.
No, it's booked.
But you don't book your accruals.
Not yet, because we haven't paid it. That payment don't come out till next year. But we'll look. It'll move forward with us.
Okay.
What we're doing. So that $200,000, and that's our cost share to it. So
we're in for next fiscal year, including this.
Yes. Well, we have a 200,000.
200 back.
Right. So yeah, if we pay the 200,000 next year and then we receive it a month after that, we should receive the 800,000. That'll give us an extra $200,000 that we could do that. Now I'm guesstimating that we're going to at least pay it for another. I'm not sure exactly when we're supposed to get it, but I'm assuming we're going to make 2 more payments above and beyond what we have set aside this week.
2027.
I didn't think we had to make any more payments until
I can help answer that question. I've already reached out once we heard the state's rules and regulations on the funding. Just so you guys know, already reached out to the fire truck manufacturer. He's trying to figure something out to help us. There's no way we're going to have a fire truck built by the end of this fiscal year. That's just not going to happen. Like, that's virtually impossible. But he's looking to become creative. I told him the issue about the state allocations. It's $800,000 for the purchase. Just so you guys know, we're going to pay $149,967. That's going to be our portion. We're gonna in theory be paying, on this truck. Because the total purchase was $949,967. So we are talking with the fire truck manufacturer to see what we can come up with. So I'll have more information for you, but the projected timeline was 34 to 36 months from the time we signed the PO, which was probably about 6 months ago.
Are they saying they can accelerate that time frame?
No.
Or no?
He doesn't know if he can accelerate the time frame. He's looking at what he can potentially do. There's no way that he'll be able to accelerate the time frame, 12 months. That's just not going to happen.
Hey, Tom.
But he's looking.
Hey, Tom, I thought we had to make a down payment and then the remainder was due on delivery.
No, you're financing
No,
it.
we financed it.
Yeah, we finance it. So Mr. Coppler decided to finance it. Your payment's $218,340.83 for 5 years. So
Okay.
we got the financing it. Adam was
We got to pay it all up front.
And we ate the $18,000
That's correct.
in our
Okay.
capacity budget, just so you're aware of. Make sure we didn't go over. So we even kind of took that hit from what we would typically be buying from, and then to make that first payment on that purchase. Because
Gotcha.
like you guys and us, we thought we were going to get $800,000, and we were just as surprised.
Well, and we still may. Like I said, Mike's working on that to see if there's a way around that. So
if that works, we reallocate the $225,000 we have this year. If that's what y'all want to do and buy that, then yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, let me ask you about this purchase of land you talked about, paying for past. We haven't spent any money on land this year.
Correct.
What were we buying land for that we wouldn't have bought it out of CRA?
Well, this was purchase stuff outside the CRA. So
What was it?
um,
I mean, you have to have a supporting document that says, hey, we're thinking about buying that property next to my house and knocking it down and putting an amusement park in, right?
right. So yeah. So this is set aside. So when we do find something, we just got into the real estate business not too long ago. We just talked with someone the other day. But again, when you purchase anything in the CRA, so I think there was talk about maybe renting out some land or anything else. If you buy it out of CRA, that goes right back in the CRA. We buy it out of this, it goes into our money. It's our money. So we rent it out, we sell it, we lease it, whatever the case may be, it comes into that.
Okay.
And then you're not limited to what you can do.
well, outside CRA could be property that abuts the city. That
Brings it into the city.
exactly
So they were
outside the city. If it's not it, outside CRA. If it's outside the city.
For example, we could have bought that lot on the other side of the hotel that Newport Richey
Yes.
bought. We
Right.
could have bought that.
Yeah, that's
and
correct.
then it would have been brought into the city.
Yeah. So, but you wouldn't use CRA dollars for that because it's not technically in the CRA.
I think there's always been a plan there. We just haven't capitalized on it. We haven't done it yet.
Right.
And that's the thing. And I think that we actually got a realtor now. I think we're actually moving forward with it. I think there's a plan there to actually purchase stuff. And again, we purchase what we can out of this and out of CRA. We're not limited to what we can do with the CRA.
All right, so there's $150 left over from last year
Yes.
that we're not going to buy
Right.
between now in 3 months, right? So that's freeing that up? Or you got that factored into the 1 point?
Yeah. Well, it's factored into the fact that we haven't spent it, so we're not taking it out of reserves.
Okay.
Yeah. So all this that's left in there is all reserve money. So the $200,000 for the dredging, reserve money. The whatever, the $135,000, it's all reserve money. We've spent what we've brought in this year so far.
Okay.
Overspent.
You were asking about, Councilman, about some of the reasons. Part of it is the water plant for deep water wells, replacement wells, refurbished wells, deep water injection. So, just one of my tasks I got when I first got here was to start looking at land purchase. I've gotten in touch with the realtor, gave him 8 or 10, I think 9 different addresses, and I'll meet with him Thursday for initial assessment on what things will cost and what's doable based on our end of the year funding, or end of the year what we have left to spend.
So your recommendation is hold off, and what's y'all's thoughts?
I would like to buy it right now because It's a safety issue. They need it, they want it, but we don't have the money. So that's something. We don't have the money, we don't have the money. But I think we should really try to figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah, I think we can definitely work on that. Like I said, I think there's
We all want it for that reason.
and I think there's a very bright light at the end of the tunnel here, and I think we can probably come through.
We're a waterfront city, so
Yeah, well, I agree.
This is important, and they are the only ones trained to do a lot of things. So for them to be able to run out of here, that's a big deal. Not just us, but a lot of people in the area.
For example, there's a $70,000 line item for vehicle purchases for admin. There's ways to trim this, and I think the point is we need to sharpen the pencil and look for an opportunity, and that's the direction I think that I'm hearing.
That's what I've been yelling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's important. I mean, the thing is, $700,000 a year is not enough, especially when you're talking about buying police cars and fire trucks and stuff like that. It's just not enough. But you have to look at it. I mean, we haven't talked about, but we have $100,000 for the police cameras and stuff like that we need. We have car money. We have this and that. You're already 3/4 into what you have, so it only leaves you a small pot to buy other things. And you're always going to go over. You need that little bit of cushion to do that.
But we have a full-time grant person.
Correct.
We can put a line item in here for that, but if a grant comes through, the line goes. Draw a line through that line item, and the grant supports the spend. So the point being is, do we need to work harder to try to look for opportunities, grants, and you guys are doing a great job. I mean, and try to find opportunities to support some of these other things. At the end of the day, the CRA is probably going to start declining as well. We've already shrunk that. We need to be taking a constant look at pulling stuff out of that area, right? So that's going to go down. And
well, you have a lot of different factors.
Right.
We spend money as what the plan is going forward. We should be. CRA is one place we should be spending the money. But the problem is too, when you start spending money, we depend on the $400,000 in income we get from our interest. So you pull that down as well.
That goes down.
You're losing in two factors. So we spend $1.5 million of our reserved money. Not only are we losing $1.5 million, we're losing all the interest we make on it as well,
right.
Which isn't a ton of money, but it's still enough money to help feed that a little bit. So we're kind of in that boat. It stinks. It does. But again, I want to make sure that we can buy stuff tomorrow and 3 years from now.
Right. Which is why we have to go through this analysis to determine all the needs, and then based upon those needs, prioritize those in a way that we try to accomplish most. Now, maybe not all, but most.
Well, that's why you have the buying of land and stuff. All that's reserve money that is just okay. If we see something we need, we buy it. Those are big purchases you should take out of your reserve fund, not the small stuff like the car cameras and stuff like that. That should come out of the $705,000. But you want to buy a piece of land that's going to increase in value for us forever, then that's what you buy out of your reserves. And that's why we don't look at those as, okay, this is a purchase we make every day. So when we don't purchase those, it doesn't affect us at all. We just keep that $1.5 million in the bank. We don't use anything. And that's really what's kind of kept that solid for us all these
right.
days.
Chief, you have something?
Before we put the boat thing to bed, listen, everything in here we're talking about is passionate to somebody, whether it's financing or car cameras or dredging or it. But I guess the hardest part that I have is that I've held off as long as I could. We're using a 20-year-old vehicle. We're finally replacing. I'm not replacing a fire truck because I wanted to chase a pipe dream. It's because NFPA says that it's too old. It has to be replaced. So to be in the fire department business, we have to do what we have to do. We have to replace our bunker gear. Like Adam said, we have to replace our gear. We got to replace things, update things. It's just part of being in the business. But, as council, again, don't mean to be, hit sensitive spots, but we don't even blink about adding hundreds of thousands of dollars to dredging, which we feel is important. But we're going to hesitate about buying a $100,000 boat that'll response out there to get the people that are on the water. So again, I'm not trying to push buttons across the board. I'm just trying to be realistic. I get it. At the end of the day, there's only one pot of gold. It is what it is. But what's more important? What are the priorities?
Yeah. Well, and so I wouldn't say that we're not blinking at some of these other things. I think everything is looked at with eyes of scrutiny. As far as the dredging commentary, the majority of the residents that we exist for want something done about that. So and we've not done
so they can go out on the water and enjoy the water,
right,
until they have trouble, and then we got to come get them.
Well, I get that, but again,
it's a tangled web. So that's what I'm saying.
I don't make light of that either.
What's more important? That's all. Listen, you don't need an answer. It was just coming from my heart to your heart, food for thought. At the end of the day, you guys are going to decide the direction of that we all go. And
and I think we're on agreement that we want to make this thing be a good purchase. It's just the timing now. Like we appropriate it and buy it tomorrow, or do we make a plan that we're going to buy it? We're going to buy it sooner than later, and we go to town to try to really sharpen our pencil and see if we can maneuver some money within our budget now. Go after the appropriation process here coming up. Look for. I don't know if that $25,000 from Firehouse Subs is that something we could possibly get to $25,000.
We have to chase after it to see that's if we even get it.
And we've got a whole nother month to work on. 2 months, actually. So,
Well, we, I'm trying. I don't like this idea either, but we did receive $500 and some $1,000 in claim money for our insurance.
It's just going to bring that up.
That's sitting there. Now,
I would remind council.
Would I recommend you use it for that? I would not. But
we used the money to fix whatever was destroyed?
No, we have not. It's sitting there right now.
What was destroyed? What was destroyed?
Well, our claim. It's just claim money from our insurance, and so
the majority was the limestone pier,
yeah,
which we weren't replacing regardless. So we're using a portion of that to demo it, of course, but we're not rebuilding that pier. That was council's decision not to rebuild that pier. So that was an item, though. It was an insured item that we had at the time, and we put a claim in for it. And got the money.
Yeah.
Basically, we had a windfall on that.
We don't like to use those words, but yes.
So I was going to bring up that money. I'd remind council that we have not set the mill rate yet, so we could instead of rolling back or going below rollback, leave where it is and get the vote.
So we got the check on that?
Yes.
And it's in those reserve numbers we just looked at, or not?
No.
Okay, so that's $500,000. Well, minus the repair. Minus the repair.
It's a portion of.
We're approximately about 85,000 for the demo, and then the 88,000 for the demo and the knee wall, and then also, if I'm correct, a portion of that money that came for us for insurance was for some of the lift station damage, and then we're awaiting the second portion of it later on. But
yes,
that's where the 500 and change comes from. The majority of it was the limestone pier, and then the downed lift stations that we had during Helene and Milton.
We, if you didn't want to use that, we also received $65,000 in FEMA money from Irma, whatever it was, whatever one of those ladies that blew us through. Yeah. So we did receive that. We haven't appropriated that money, and it's sitting there.
It's in the general fund.
It's in the general fund. So I mean, I honestly feel bad, because I get it. I do. And ultimately you have to be the bad guy. But, we do have a little extra money that we didn't account for this year. I mean, if that's something y'all want to do. Again, I'm against it. But I want y'all to know there is options out there. And
I recommend we leave it in the budget, and we will find an option to fund it. One of these many reasons.
Well, the one thing we can keep in mind too, if you move forward and purchase it, there is no grant that you retroactively get the money back.
Correct.
So if we, like I said, that's why I was kind of leaning towards let's budget it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the budget doesn't. Yeah, the budget is. I mean, so
Tom said grants for fireboats are hard. Yeah. Unless you're buying massive fireboats like Tampa's fireboat, they're hard. There's so many stipulations to get one. We looked. Listen, we're good at getting. Trust me.
We not take
a couple of years. That's why this was. put into the capital improvement can a couple of years ago.
Right.
And we spent that time, if you look at the original one, you'll see that we were researching, when we talk about funding sources, we were researching grants.
Can we not just fund $50,000 this year out of our general fund from that $65,000 FEMA check, and then $50,000 you're taking $50,000 out of this one and just I mean, those are other options. Again, my option to y'all would be to wait till we get our money back, but those are what we have available to us. It wouldn't cause us to have to go.
You're saying 65 from the FEMA, and then what? Another 40 for the balance.
Yeah, I want to say off the top of my head, and this came in December, so it could be 63 or 65. So let's just flat it at 60 if we're going to appropriate it. Okay. There's 60,000, then you need 40. Yeah, because we need to appropriate more money for the rest of the canal dredging study. So that would, I think that would give us enough money if we did that to allocate 40 grand in here, and then the rest of it to that.
So would you be comfortable with leaving it in the budget for now, and then we obviously go after, put it in for appropriation, whatever, and just kind of see if we can, and if we end up getting the $800,000 all at once, and then we feel more comfortable. Again, being in the budget and purchasing, still two different actions, right? And put it in there.
Comfortable with whatever y'all are comfortable with. My ony job here is to give you my opinion, and I'm fine with whatever you want to do.
On the caution flag, I want to make sure if that makes you feel comfortable.
I'm fine with that if y'all are okay with that.
But I'm hearing a caution flag, but then I'm hearing we got this extra money sitting over here, and I still don't have an exact breakdown.
No.
And I would like to hear from Sal. Sal, we spent $85,000, and those guys did a bang up job. Nice job.
They're not that.
Yeah. Okay, but we're still $415,000 sitting there. How much money do we need to do the lift stations out of that? And can we swing 105? Because I hear Gary saying we did drop 200,000 more just like that for dredging.
Oh.
But a lot of us are sitting here because we said we're going to do something about dredging.
It's kind of offset, because when you look at receiving money from insurance, at that time you don't know what you're getting when you put the claim in, right? So the thing is that offset was still out there at the time. Now we know what that portion is. The lift stations are all up and running now. That's been done. That was financed through the utility fund. We had money in the utility fund. Daryl had to get them up and running no matter what. We don't wait for claims money. So it all depends on what council and what deciding to do with that money now. Now that we received this check, do we go ahead and reappropriate it back into the utility fund to offset the lift stations and this demo, or now since that, I believe, if I'm correct, the demo was ARPA.
Yes.
I believe I'm 95% without it in front of me.
It was ARPA.
I believe the demo was ARPA. So that's covered by ARPA funds. So that, once again, that's a wash. So we have this money. Lift stations are done operationally through the utility fund. That's already been done. That's been accomplished and done and moving forward. What we get as a claim from our insurance company is basically they go out and assess what those were worth at the time, and then we get this check. We don't wait for that to come. So now we have this money. We just need to decide where we want to appropriate that money to. Do we want to put it back into the general fund? Do we want to reallocate it for projects? Do we want to put it, set aside for something else? That's what unfortunately we have the benefit of that, because we weren't counting on that check. Now we have it. So it's just like the FEMA reimbursement. We put out money, pulled out money for reserves, I believe in the realm of like 1.2 or
1 million.
1 million. 1 million for the C&D collection and damage control and assessment. So now we're getting reimbursement back from FEMA. So that's, once again, we put that money out. We're not expecting it to get back because we don't know what we'll get back. But now that we're getting back, now we can decide we're going to put that money back into, once again, back into the reserves, back into the general fund, or reallocate that money, as we see fit. But that's obviously a decision between council and city manager. So
I saw this weekend, and Chief Ruggiero, I want to commend you. I saw your police boat, I believe, out on the channel there. And I saw people coming just swinging by, and they saw the police boat, and they're like, real slow driving by. So it makes a difference, huge difference of what's happening on the water there. I see the water activity picking up big time around here. So what I don't want to do is have enough money sitting there to get Gary and his team the boat they need to go out there and make sure that we're going to save lives and all those other things. And all of us sit back and say, well, we'll look at it and talk about it. I don't want to do that. If we got the money for it, and you're telling me we have the money for it, we should act now and make this happen versus sit around.
We don't have the money for it.
Let me add to that
That's not
too.
what you just said.
I said we can use it. It's not. I mean, when you look at it, we have money, we have extra money. It doesn't necessarily mean it's boat money. We have other things coming up too.
And if I could, 1 second. So, could we purchase the boat today? Absolutely. We've got $12 million in reserves out there, right? So we have money. But you got to understand that there's a lot more things around money. Once you spend it, you lose the opportunity cost of what you could spend it for because it's spent, right? You draw it down. There's some other things to keep in mind from the appropriation process, and I'll use this as an example. One thing that we got this $2.5 million water pipe appropriation. We just don't get $2.5 million. We put in a request. We have to spend $600,000, and so as we go forward with the appropriation process, we don't just ask for free money. We have to put up some collateral towards that to get those, right? We got to have skin in the game, and so if we spend money, it reduces our amount of skin in the game for bigger projects, right? And one of the things that was, while we're very thankful we got $2.5 million towards the water pipes, it's a $3.1 million project because we got to put $600,000 towards it. And so you got to keep those things in mind too. So we're really going to be doing $3.1 million worth of water, not 2.5. And we're, so $600,000 is our money.
I'm trying to be conscientious of that, but I also don't see this as a boat toy. I see this as last time we had a hurricane, the flood, those people were out there at 2:00 in the morning pulling people out of the water.
Well,
we'd had 3 or 4 more feet last time. All of our houses would have been underwater, and they'd had to save all of us. And if we don't have this kind of equipment out there to do it, this is not like a toy. Hey, the boys need something to ride around on and fish. This is not like that. This is like an ambulance with a boat motor on the back of it. That's exactly what it's like. So I want to make sure we're not missing that.
Well, too, I want you to understand too. He's exactly right. We have $3.1 million. We have allocated our catch-all, but this is a pay and we make it. They pay us back grant. So if we do this all in a year, we got to come out $3.1 million, which that's got to come out of
reserves.
Come out of the reserves. And so that 500,000. When I say there's not money for a boat, that 500,000 is there. I'm using that as an option. You absolutely can do that. I'm telling you, it's not boat money, but that's the option you have if you want to buy him the boat. I feel like we want to buy him a boat. I'm fine with that. I'm just giving you the lay of the land. We absolutely can do whatever we want.
What's the life expectancy on a boat like that, Gary?
15 years. Okay, so why can't we go out there and get a 3-year note? Okay, get a 3-year note, sign the note. We're solid. We're a good city, right? We don't have any money out of it. And if we get the money later, it's done. It's paid for.
And in that case, only the expenditure of the principal payments go against capital. Is that right? So that'd be you can get a 5-year note, 15-year note.
Get a 3-year note. Get that thing paid for. Get that puppy paid for quick. It's cheap. The money's cheap. It's relatively cheap right now.
And what you're saying is you could do it, set it up like that for 5 years. If this stuff flips around, then you pay it off immediately. And you're probably going to get an 8 or 9 or 10% rate, unless you got a handshake deal with the bank.
If I could,
go ahead, Tom.
To that, I heard what you guys talk about the notes. I've already reached out. The company that actually helped us finance the fire truck is able to do any kind of fire equipment or life safety equipment purchases under that financing. Just so you guys are.
Yeah, we're talking $105,000 though.
The council understand and the city residents, because ultimately that's their money.
What's
done our due diligence to make
what's
sure
the rate?
What we're asking for here of you guys. We make sure that
If you ask me about making a note on it, I would say that's dumb. Not that you're.
Hold on, but you can't do it both ways.
I can, because when you do a note, I get what you're saying. Listen, I thought of that idea too, but you're paying interest on something that really, in all honesty, we could pay for. I mean, we're paying when doing this fire truck. We have enough money to pay for the fire truck. We're paying $140,000 in interest over the 5 years for the fire truck before we got the appropriation. So that was the deal. I don't like that. But it allows us to leave our money liquid, so we can do things. If something come up, we can do those things. So you take $1 million out of $3 million, you don't have a whole lot. You're losing interest. You're losing all this. So yes, that's the thing. I would say if you were going to purchase this thing, just buy the stupid thing and let's move on about our lives. I don't know that I would.
I'm going to make this easy because honestly, I think we're all on board with leaving it in the budget for sure. So why don't we leave it in the budget, and then we'll cross this bridge when we go to actually
finalize it. Right. And what's the lead time on this, Tom?
Tom, lead time on the boat.
The lead time on the boat can anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Right now, they're doing longer times because all the boats have just been eaten up by Texas during their flooding event. So all the boats that were available, we got calls saying, "Hey, do you want this boat or not?" We're like, "No, we're just kicking the tires." Like, okay, boat's going to Texas. So all of them are in Texas. So they're just waiting for the boats to get back in, but 3 to 6 months.
So if we made a decision today to put a PO out today to get this boat, the earliest is probably November.
And we don't have to pay for it till then, right?
Yeah, right. And we expect an interest rate reduction between now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the budget for next year.
Well, you wouldn't buy now. It'd be October.
That's right. It's in the budget.
Right. So the earliest we would basically, if we bought it October 1st, it'd be at.
If you put PO together today, you're not going to get it until October or November.
You have to encumber that money.
Yeah, but I'm looking at lead time.
Yeah. But then the purchase for financial purposes would be in this fiscal year, even though you're not getting it till then.
Right.
Yeah. So. But.
Well, so could you order it before the fiscal year? I thought you have to have a PO out.
You have to have a PO, which PO encumbers the money. So it's not like we can say, hey, we'll order it.
Encumber the money for next year? We can pre-encumber the money for.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can,
on October 1st. We're just a budget for October 1st.
I get it. But he's saying if we put a PO together now, it would come out of this year's.
That's right. It's coming for this fiscal year. It's not
no, this year. So what? We got stuff we're not spending this year. Millions of dollars.
We're buying 3 more police cars.
Right, and we still got $1 million.
Well, three extra.
But that's nothing.
Frank's like, keep me out of this. I'm good.
That's nothing compared to your vote.
We still got millions of dollars. We're
He's
not
got his
spending
taser
this
to my
year, is
hip
what I'm
right now.
saying.
Can't talk anymore.
Well, so you're advocating you put to
Well, we
buy.
know he wants it now. We can table this.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
There's a lot of things we need to check on. I mean, we gotta wait. I agree with Adam. Wait to see what appropriations come through. And we'll see what we can do to move some money around. And we can also write a letter to Santa Claus. Hey, days I can wish list, so we can see what they need to help out. So,
Yeah.
I think,
This will be one of those Doge things,
figure out what's
right?
the best way to finance it.
Yeah.
we'll just leave it in the budget.
Yeah. Does that work?
I'm fine with that. Oh, yeah. Y'all are gonna have to approve it. So I'm fine with that. So if y'all are good with it, I'm good with it. Again, I just give you my opinion. You do whatever you need to do.
In the meantime, if we can reach out to Firehouse Sub and see if we can tap into $25,000. Let's write this up as an appropriation that we submit to Mike to go because we'll be meeting with the legislators here in September, I think. We want to try to get him stuff by.
Yeah, but if we find
And we may find out back from the fire truck. So.
Right, and we're working that actively now, so that may be sooner than later. Right. So I think we've got a little time to see how the pieces fall together.
Okay, I think we solved that one. Move on.
And maybe we can just finance part of it, you know, what we can do for moving money around, and or we might be able to get help, like you said, Firehouse Subs or whoever.
Right. Good. I think we're good on that. So
I think that was it for us, right?
No, you got the fire truck.
One more slide.
The last slide is the fire truck, but I think we talked about both in this past 35 minutes.
But you don't have that in the budget right now. You're gonna.
It is.
It's in there. It's under debt services.
Okay.
We're in a lease agreement, so it's a debt.
Okay.
Did we get a confirmation on if we are able to pay this thing tomorrow? Let's say we get the full $800,000, we pay it tomorrow. Do we avoid interest or not?
So I reached out, but I did not reach out again because of the mishap with this. So I will reach out to find out what the deal is. But
I would like to have a number to say, hey, if you guys make us wait, it's costing the taxpayers X. If we get the money and we'll purchase it now and just have to wait on it, that we save this.
Yeah.
Tom, can you answer that question?
What was the question, sir?
Is there an early payoff penalty for the lease company for the fire truck?
I'm 99% sure no.
I don't think there was either.
I thought we talked about it.
Yeah, I thought we talked about it too, and I don't think there's an early payoff.
So we will avoid. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know the payoff and what the interest will save us, as opposed to taking it to term.
I'll tell you. I'll find out.
Okay, because
that'll pay for the boat.
it would more than pay for the boat.
Two birds with one stone.
So the more information I can give to Mike to talk to Blaze about to explain the situation, because I get government does dumb things sometimes, and this is a dumb thing, and I want to make that known. And so if we can save taxpayers $150,000 in interest, why do we have to wait just because you want to reappropriate this every year from a state level? You've got the money now.
You're going to give us anyway.
It's all it is. It's bureaucratic waste of money. So
Agreed. So we're good with the fire department?
Yes.
On the last budget, you must have stuck that fire truck in because the numbers that I have.
Yeah, I well, after the,
This was last week. You put it in this week.
yes. Appropriated that over, there's $225,000 in debt services, $200,000 for the principal and $25,000 for admin and interest fees.
Can I ask that you, when you get finished with this, send me the
Yeah, I can do that.
sheets again so that I can rerun?
Actually, it's in here.
I don't want to look at that.
only 520. We can
Oh,
do
you don't want
nine.
to see it on? I don't want to see it on paper, man. I can't hover over it and add things up. You follow me?
I follow you.
All right.
There's only one thing in debt services anyway.
Well, I don't see anything in here, so this is what I'm looking at. Last week's numbers, I didn't get an update, so.
All right, moving along.
Is that all fire?
That's all a fire.
All right.
Thank you, Fire. Thank you, Chief.
Turn the hose off.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Night, Tom.
I'm gonna make a suggestion. We have a special budget workshop just for fire department.
Hey, don't leave the police out of this one. We need badges, cameras, and what else was stun guns?
Stun guns. All right.
So I think next up, I think is where we go to the air conditioner, I think, right?
We were on.
Was that the 80 grand? No.
No, we were on the air conditioner. You're right. Police department.
Okay. Police department air conditioner, we spoke about that. We need to replace one of those air conditioners in the police department. It was in this year's budget where we reappropriate it for other things, so.
Well, I know we got air conditioning in the back seats for the prisoners, so I definitely want.
That's important.
That was a good thing. That was a good.
Hey, I was for that.
I know you were. You were the one that brought it forward.
And I'm definitely for this.
So I think the next thing is
We never see that action. You know what I'm saying?
I may see it. I'm not going to lie to you.
That is a true story.
I'll tell you exactly how it feels back there.
Make sure you pick him up in one of the older cars too.
Do we, I got a question. So I'm not quite sure I understand because somebody said one air conditioner, somebody said 3 air conditioners. Is this for all the air conditioners surrounding you and your guys and gals back there?
It's just one. It's just one that we were going to replace last year, but we didn't.
Do we bid this stuff out or just like pick the most favorite person? You bid it out to like
40
4 different companies?
Yeah, you couldn't buy a purchase like that. With our purchase policy, if I get a quote that exceeds 25,000, then it's got to go out to bid for a company to do it. But if we get quotes for 10,000, 15,000, 20, those would be 3 bids and then presented to council, or then you have the state contract route. But something like that wouldn't be state contract. That would just basically reaching out to companies and getting quotes.
And that thing back there's 25 years old?
They're all original. They've been maintenance, but there's no new units. I believe we've changed out air handlers. The air handler behind us is a newer one. I mean, it's already about 8 years old. But the AC units outside the building are still original.
The condenser unit.
Yes, the condenser units themselves. So that's the only air handler that's been actually changed out. The others are still original. But like I said, I mean, belts and some parts aside throughout the years they maintain, but the one in PD has had more issues than most of them throughout the building. So this is why we've set aside money to replace that.
And that's the inside and the outside unit for that back there, right?
Yeah, probably because of how old it is, you're probably gonna have to replace both.
Sure. I don't think you do one, not the other.
Yeah,
I think you
it's
replace
just when most change outs like that, they recommend both. So.
Do we look at just like a window unit for a chief's office?
He hasn't requested one, but unfortunately,
Just
our
back the
windows.
Tesla up there and open the
Our
windows.
windows don't go
Yeah, a mini split.
Our windows
Give
don't
him
go
a
up
mini
and down,
split.
so he would, we'd have to replace the window too.
Just sitting his Tesla with the edge.
That's right.
All right, the next thing.
I'll never live that one down.
So the next thing is that Exxon Officer Safety Package. That's for the cloud service to hold it, but it's also for the body cameras, the car cameras and stuff like that. Originally, we had budgeted $100,000 for this. It seems like the price may be a little off. So Frank is our chief is working on that.
Ruggiero.
Ruggiero. I don't know why I can't say that.
Ruggiero.
Ruggiero.
I've been called worse.
Sam.
Spell it right, but he might.
Yeah, Sam is working on some new numbers for us. I can say that. So we'll know that. But right now we have $100,000 for the.
Do we think it's going to be more? I guess
It looks like it, but he's working on that.
Yeah, I'm working with Axon to get different quotes and trying to get cheaper quotes as much as we can, and maybe have to cut some equipment so we can rotate stuff in and out rather than having it permanently assigned. I just can't do that with the car cameras. Once they're in a car, they're in a car. I definitely want to get the new cars outfitted, and then we're going to go to certain cars, but ones that we're going to deadline after next year, I think we'll just hold off on them. So she's working me another quote this afternoon. I just called her again, and she's working on it to try and see if we can get what we need at a reasonable cost. So I told her what we wanted to do, and I was trying to keep it under 110 at the most. So she's going to tell me what kind of bang we can get for our buck with that. But like I say, talk about the civil rights and all that stuff, the cameras are like a necessity, if you ask me. The tasers are also a necessity, and our tasers right now are out of life cycle, and some of them don't work. We have like 5 or 6 of them back there that they're not replaceable because they don't make them no more. So they're just sitting in a drawer and not being used. And if we have something to where we can actually taser somebody with the new tasers, we can actually deploy them from 45 feet away. The ones we have now, you have to be less than 25 feet, and those are even debatable if you're going to make it within 25 feet. So if we can actually use a less lethal option on somebody rather than a lethal force option, I think that's huge.
Sure.
Definitely a game changer. And like I say, with the cars, with the crime fighting capabilities, with the entire package deal, I'm trying to get everything we possibly can, but also keep it to where we're not pricing ourselves out of business.
So it originally was $100,000 for 10 years. So we're paying for Pasco. But once we gets that worked out, we'll leave it at $100,000 for right now, and then if whatever overage, we can take it out of police confiscated funds. And if it's $8,000 or $9,000, we can still do the $100,000, and there's enough money in there in the reserves and police confiscated funds to carry that for 10 years if we have to. But it depends on how low he gets it. But we have a plan for next fiscal year. We'll leave it like this, and then we'll come back if the price is different and kind of work it for the next fiscal year. So I think we're fine this year. The next one is the impound lot fencing. That is $50,072.58 to replace the fencing and the electronic gates and stuff like that for the impound lot. And I think that's been needed to be done, I think, for a while. So I think we put it in there to have it done this year. I think it's an important thing.
Yeah. With that, the gates, when it rains, they don't shut. So anybody can just drive back in the lot. And we have our impound lot back there. And sometimes if you drive in and the screen's not right, it looks like a junkyard. And we don't want it to look like a junkyard. We want it to look like a professional business.
If we were to acquire property and move the police station, would you envision the impound lot would probably stay here? Or would that be something we move with it?
It would. I would say it'd be division of wherever we can get it to where it's out of sight, out of mind. It just doesn't look good, and it's not really professional.
Got a place in mind up Ridge Road.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm asking. Do we want to invest this here, or wait till we see what we work out with that? So,
I think based on the time frame to a new police station, probably be worth it.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, even if we move that, we could probably still leave this as the impound lot behind us or whatever.
I just would be a good option.
Yeah. Okay.
Didn't
we have like $105,000 in the confiscation fund that could go towards some of these police asks?
Some of these police what?
Asks.
Yes, but again, we don't know how much the difference is on this, the police cams and body footage and stuff like that. So right now it was 165. So we had planned on taking the 65,000, which eat up most of it, but he's working it down. So I don't want to do a whole lot with that until we figure out exactly what we need to do with it.
Right, but right now it's coming out of penny, right?
Right.
So since there's a surplus in the confiscation fund, 105,000, what I think you presented, could that help support the boat?
For the fire department?
Yeah. In other words, if we put the 105 and offset some of these police spends, it frees up the penny for Pasco funds for the fireboat.
That's a possibility.
Then you don't have to dip into your insurance.
Chief, I got
You
a
know,
question for you.
I don't think there's a requirement to have an X amount of percentage in reserve in the police confiscation fund.
No, but too, it's not. They don't bring in a whole lot of money in that thing. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's $10, $5.
Well, $100 grand is $100 grand.
Yeah. So obviously we haven't spent out of it in a while. So
Ever.
I mean,
Ever.
I got a question for straight. I'm trying to say it correctly. Is a vinyl fencing secure? I mean, at the end of the day, I see those vinyl fences, little 6-inch slats, and they wouldn't blow over in a storm. I mean, I guess
They probably would, but
that's what I'm saying. We're going to put up a
they're easy to
$50,000
put
fence.
back
The
up,
first storm's
too.
going to come along. It's going to be a $5,000 fence.
Yeah, they're just easier to put back up than the wooden ones. Once they snap, then you're done.
Is that a wood one back there right now, or is
It's
it
chain link with the
fabric?
screening over
With the
top of
fabric.
it, and the fabric never lasts more than a year or two with any type of wind.
I think it's the reason the vinyl is to obscure it, right, and not have to, because they've got chain link with the fabric that just keeps ripping it.
What you
I'm
hide?
just thinking the idea behind that lot is a secure lot, right? And the vinyl doesn't seem secure to me at all. I mean, I could probably take my foot and kick through it. And walk.
You can cut through a chain link fence just as easy.
Not really. No, it's not just as easy.
No,
No, it's a lot harder.
once you electrify it, it's pretty self.
It's right, it's not electrified.
And the new
How about
tasers
civil
reach
rights?
really far.
We could use those phasers phasers.
The big thing is blocking it off so people can't see what's back there. Especially when we were bringing prisoners back there. If they have a family member that's looking to try to do something crazy, they don't know where they're at back there. Things like that. Plus, everything's monitored.
Oh, it's where you bring prisoners in too. It's not just the.
It's not just the
storage
impound lot. It's the whole entire back
It's part of
lot.
the Sally Port too.
Okay, gotcha.
So they keep their.
No, I understand. I know. So it protects your guys from being seen from the street too, right?
Yes,
Okay. Is this a 6-foot fence?
I would hope so. I'm not the one who spec'd all this out. This was done before I got here, but I would put anything less than that up there. That's for sure.
We might want to revisit those specs.
Yeah.
Make sure it's what you.
And it probably would need a new quote too, because like I say, it's been a little bit.
We need a new one.
A new quote to see where we're actually at. I think this is a good start though. It's something we can work on. Like I say, the gates are definitely have to go. They're just every time it rains.
This includes the
it's wide
gates and the
open.
power stuff and all
Yes.
that stuff. Okay, got it.
I think that's where the majority of the money is.
Really? Okay.
in the gates. And that can't be vinyl either.
Well, they
Probably
have
aluminum.
certain ones that they
Yeah.
can make it look like that.
You know, like a frame with boards in it.
All right, and then the last thing is the upgrade the visual and audio in the council chambers. We have $30,000 set aside, $35,000 set aside in this fiscal year that we're going to appropriate. I think he's working on. I think he's working on the bids now, and then this is the second part of it to make this ADA compliant, and then fix the audio in here. And I think we had talked about that during the CIP shop last year.
That'll take these standing mics and stuff from all around the room and correct it. Is that right?
We've approached this from several different routes. The previous city manager has talked about incorporating this room as an EOC. So right now we received a couple of quotes from Sharp, the current vendor who did some of the work in here, and another company to basically rechange all the audio and visual, new microphones, new everything. But I still kind of want to get more of council input as we move forward on this project, because I know we've discussed with the mayor actually changing the camera to incorporate Zoom at that angle, so that we can allow people to zoom in. Now that they can zoom in from home, yes, but we're trying to change the aspect of, instead of using this camera here, using that camera there. We want to continue working the problem as far as the audio for the room itself as compared to the audio at home. That's something I think we need more input on where the target issue is at. Is the target issue more or less people hearing as we're talking in the room, or is it more at home via Zoom or just through the audio recording? So this is something we've set aside enough monies to address the entire problem. I mean, to do the room front and back, but I would like to do this more like almost like a piecemeal, addressing each issue and each problem as we move forward. I don't think that I'd hate to throw $70,000 into this room personally. Right.
Pour somebody's pour.
I hate to.
I'd like to see what the companies have to offer. It'd be great. Maybe not all at the same time, but they can come in and do presentations.
Yes.
It gives us ideas.
I'd like to see us address the whole room as a whole.
Yeah, this furniture.
You know, the only thing that looks older than that car in the firehouse picture we saw over there earlier from 1950 is the furniture in this room.
Yeah, and that was you can see it's sagging.
And here's the deal: we don't have to make this all look grand with big columns and stuff. This should look a lot like what it looks like over at Newport Richey, where you got desks. There's room for like all the people to sit out there. We're facing the camera. We're talking to the people, you know. And it's so much easier to set it up like that. And I don't think it's a lot of money. I don't think it's.
I'd like to incorporate a workshop moving forward in the near future to get
$70,000 here
to get all these points passed along. Because now we're not only talking about audio and visual. We're talking about furniture and stuff like that, which is good. And I agree with, because I mean I think this has been passed on 3 times through 3 city halls.
I believe that they actually built a new city hall here and used old furniture from the other city hall that came from the other city hall.
I couldn't
Actually, and this
Original city.
The original city hall where Walmart is now, this dais used to be at. Then it was transferred to the temporary city hall in the shopping plaza on Congress, and then that was temporary. And then when this was built, they just transferred it here. This has been
I think our city.
I'm okay with that.
I think our city is worth investing in a little bit of stuff here.
Like we call it,
and
Mike
so-
and Jim, get him over here.
so-
Let's get it.
When Matt was here and putting this as an EOC, that was all part of that, and he wanted to make these where they could modular, you could roll them out of the way and
exactly.
redesign.
Yeah.
A flat square room, basically. These would be wheeled in, taken care of, put back together when a meeting was called for, or the room would be completely empty as EOC, and you can incorporate that.
I love it.
We've talked about, with some of the companies that we've already had here, we've talked about a video wall, incorporating on that far wall. That way, it would be a multi-use screen. Basically, you can use it for, EOC purposes, but also a front screen so everyone here can see. We've talked about all those things, but I really think moving forward, a workshop should be locked in to decide what we're going to actually, what is our needs and wants, and get this done the right way, and have, direct council input. I mean, you guys sit here. I mean, everyone here does the meetings here. I mean, we have other boards and committees, but, the council and CRA, / CRA board are the main people who incorporate this room monthly. So I really like that direct input.
Yeah.
And now that, Mr. Koppler is gone and Andy is acclimating himself in, I think that would just be good to see what direction we're going to go in and get this completed. So, but the money that we have set aside for there is in the ballpark of doing everything. I mean, we haven't incorporated furniture yet, but honestly, if we look into that, that's not going to be nowhere near as much as the audio and visual. No. So we can find other options for furniture and stuff like that as we move forward.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I introduced him to Service back here. Obviously, they're in our city. They might be willing to do something on a donation basis or whatever. It's, there's options out there.
Furniture wise, though,
I like my chair. Leave the chair alone.
Sample chairs out here. Sample chairs out here for the audience now.
Yeah, but I'll be the only one sitting in them.
So I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, we'll schedule one.
We'll schedule a meeting for
Let's talk about
planning session.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Awesome.
chairs.
And one other item a couple items I wanted to bring up. Unfortunately, it wasn't included in the packet. I did send it over to CM and the finance director. We did want to add a $20,000 CIP project for the wireless, the wireless for this building as an IT project. The wireless is as old as the building. The good thing is that the new wiring has been done for City Hall. We have all the ports and stuff done. The switches have just arrived that the council approved about a month and a half ago. Those are in now, and now we're going to install those new switches for both the police department and City Hall. And then we're going to be able to incorporate the new Cat 6A wiring that we just had installed. So the company that did the installation is waiting on us to do that, to do the switchover, and then that project will be done. So as far as our new year, as far as an IT project, we wanted to address the wireless here for City Hall and PD. So I just wanted to include that amount as well.
Isn't that a liability here?
What's that?
Wireless in the city hall, isn't that a liability for people to be able to penetrate and get in?
Well, I mean, it's protected regardless, and it's on a separate. It's not. It doesn't. It's
So
not
who's the
tied
wireless
into-
for? For me when I come in here on my cell phone?
Yeah, for
Your box now is connected wirelessly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This box is connected wireless? Why didn't they Cat 5 this or Cat 6 this?
Because there's no runs in here. But we'd have to. I mean, we could do that for sure.
We
But
can do that. We can do those runs, and we have that set up. So if we want to run that when we change the room, we can run all new ports in here and have that done.
yeah, you got.
I'm just wondering why we need
You have the secure wireless, and you also have a guest portal that people come in. They jump on the wireless. I mean, it's common.
Okay.
$20,000.
$25,000 wireless boxes.
Well, is that what you said it were? 25,000.
Yeah, give me a second. I think it's 20,000, not 25.
And it's already in the budget.
Oh, that's not in the budget, but
Not.
we're going to hold off on the wireless in here. We can use that money to do that in place of it until y'all do a workshop and figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, we'll do the workshop either in September or October. Spending money talking.
We can do that in the latter part of September. That'd be really nice. My first part's all jacked up.
Okay. So the second reading's on the 18th, so maybe the next week. It'll be a normal council meeting, I think. So we can try to work in a budget either late September or early October.
Yeah.
For a
Yeah,
workshop.
after budget, all over with.
Okay, once we get the budget, out the door.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
All good.
I think we addressed everything. So,
Okay. Any other questions before we?
yeah, anything needs to be changed. I'm not changing anything. We're leaving the boat in there. Everything is right as rain the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for all that hard work. I know you too, Andy, coming in. Obviously, there's a lot to come into, but and especially the fact that we're not only lowered the millage rate, but actually providing a tax cut. That's I'm glad you're able to accommodate that. So it's 2 years in a row we've actually tax cut the residents, which is always a good thing.
I love that.
So, yeah, you make it sound like you love doing that, but it was like pulling your teeth. So yeah, we're doing good things here, and we're going to pass that along to the residents, which is always good. So,
Were you guys okay with the admin vehicles? 70 grand?
Not the utility ones you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the admin vehicles out in the parking lot.
We didn't talk about those.
Oh, yeah. I didn't put a CIP in there. I'm sorry.
No, maybe we should.
Oh, you didn't put it in? It's in,
No, it's in the budget. I'm sorry.
yeah, 70
So
grand.
but we have a sheet on it. Did you want to talk about it?
Yeah,
Let's talk about it.
He's talking about replacing the fit and replacing the GMC.
The train, yeah.
And do we know the miles on either one of those vehicles?
I don't. I was going to get it from Veronica today, but she was out today. So, but it's just sell the fit and the terrain and get a new vehicle. Again,
What kind of vehicle were you thinking?
I don't have an idea actually.
$70,000 thinking vehicle.
Well, it wasn't. It's not a. I put that in there as a
Placeholder?
placeholder. Yep.
Okay.
But again, you could take that in a police boat or.
Well, you told me that we can put a battery in the fit and it'll run, right?
Yes, but again, it's go ahead.
Okay. I mean, that's an option.
It is an option.
Looking to save money.
I mean, if it's a low mileage fit and it needs a battery.
We bought that thing years and years ago, and it was used when we bought it. So I mean, so.
And what's the matter with the terrain?
It's just old, and I mean, again, it's perfectly fine, huh?
What year is the terrain? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
The terrain, do you know what year it is?
Off the top of my head, no.
I
want to say 2012.
2012?
Yeah, both the terrain and fit have been with the city for a very long time.
And they have very low miles on them, right?
Well, the fit, I believe, the ballpark is between is about close to 60,000, 60, 70,000, and the train is probably less than that. I'll get everything for you tomorrow morning. I'll have. I mean, it's very easy to. The vehicles are, like I said, both
So
here present. We have the records on them. So.
And they run good?
I mean.
I can't fit in the fit.
Yeah, well.
Put you in the train.
Let's say the fit is unfit, and we move off the terrain, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just the the amount of hours in year in life that both those vehicles have had. I mean, I would consider if you can get a trade on both of them towards one, or towards one vehicle would probably be better off for the city. I don't know how long you want to hold on to them and use them. I mean, are they being used? They're being used for if the clerk has to go to the county building to go collect records, if the police department needs one of the spare vehicles to run to the county themselves, training. Someone wants to use the vehicle to go to a training seminar or something like that. They use it.
Right.
I mean, so it is used. By
We could rent a
departments.
vehicle and do that if you got to go out of town. A rental vehicle will suffice.
That's already an option.
So
Keeping those vehicles out there, my opinion, we get rid of them all and put everybody on an expense report, just like you do in corporate world. No big deal.
you can do that as well. I mean, it's just
Well, I think with that, and that works. But I mean, you put people on an expense report. They're out buying. They're getting the Uber Black to take them somewhere or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you
driving their own vehicle.
Mileage. You actually, I mean,
You pay them so much a mile to drive their own vehicle.
that is true. But I think the liability on that, again, we had this conversation today. If I take my car down to Miami for a training session and I wreck it, I got to put it on my insurance, even though it's a work thing. I mean, I think the liability on that, I'm not okay with that.
If you're going to Miami, you can rent a car.
Well, you don't get to rent it. If you have to drive your own vehicle to go up to the county or something, now you're supposed to tell your private insurance company that you sometimes use your car for work.
I don't know
which
about that.
Raises your rate.
You do.
So now we're affecting everybody else.
And when I do my insurance, they ask me, do I use it for work? I do not. But if I drive it to wherever I got to go, I mean, yeah, I use it for work now. So now my insurance is different because, I might as well DoorDash while I'm at it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
a different.
We can look at a city admin Uber account or something. We'll try to be creative, but spending $70,000 on a vehicle is not top priority right now. We'll see if we get the fit. We'll have it looked at.
Yeah, we can do that.
The surplus this year once we figure out. I would say we go with an electric vehicle to admin car to start, but that means I need to start looking at infrastructure like a charging station right away.
Duke was going to put one in here for no cost.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll see if they're still offering.
Who?
I worked somewhere where they were donating.
They were, but Trump stopped the infrastructure, so we couldn't get it now. Anyway, he stopped putting them in. And the thing is too. I mean, $70,000. He was going to spend $70,000. I don't know. I don't know how much a car costs. I go out and finance mine.
Aren't we getting a bunch of gas generators for the utility guys? We can put one of those out there and crank it up with gas, and then we can charge the thing.
We already got a generator out there. It probably needs to be run to run some fuel.
That's true.
That's true. Just run a power cord offside and plug it in.
Probably we could do that. We could
probably
kill two birds
the hallway bad diesel fuel once a year.
We could run the generator out there just to run it, and in the meantime charge the electric vehicle.
So that sounds like a no on $70,000.
Well, it's again, I don't know how much a car costs. I put it in there. I mean, I could take it out.
it's in the budget. Let's look at options same way. If we want to buy a car later, it's in the budget. If we don't, yeah. So, yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Not yet. I got one very important thing to
yes,
mention.
Sir.
Any old business?
yes, 3 chairs here.
That's right.
Have a seat. Take a pick. Let me know.
Do we need to do that during the meeting, or can we do it after the meeting?
You do it after the meeting.
Yeah, that
Well,
doesn't.
then how do we submit to him which one we want?
There's a checklist right up here.
Okay.
Okay. Just
I think make that part of the budget shop.
Okay.
just put a check mark next to one.
Any other old business? I have. Go ahead, Bob.
I got a question about I heard Sal talk about, I wasn't clear about the limestone pier, and I know about the seawall looks good. Did they get that piling out of there?
Well, I'd like to get you actually on site there because we had a long discussion, the city manager, myself, the engineer, and the contractor. The PVC marker that's out there is just, that's to show where the construction part was done. And between, I've talked to the engineer and I talked to the contractor, and they fulfilled removing 3 feet of the existing where the pier was. I'd really like to get with you as soon as possible when you come back to see what we have to pinpoint. Now, there is oyster bed outside the original footprint of that pier, but we're not permitted to go outside that. So it all depends on where this pillar that you're speaking of actually is, and we can pinpoint that and find that out. But the marker that they have out there right now is just basically showing where they dug out to. It doesn't. That's not where there's a piece out there where the PVC marker is. So we really need to.
Oh, that white.
That's just to show where they have how far the pier was.
So that's not marking
Other guys on the park go out there later that day, and they marked it with a piece of PVC where that pillar was left. And they said they were going to remove that. But when I get back, we'll get them a vote.
Yes, absolutely. Because like I said, they just finished the wall. We're going to do some last touch-up landscaping on the front end of it. We're pretty much getting ready to sign off on everything, but I really want to resolve this issue before final payment. So the contractor, I told him, so I definitely would like you there present, so we can all be on the same page. So when you get back, let us know, and we'll set up another meeting to go out there.
All right.
Excellent. Anything else, Bob? Okay. Anything else on the paving? Thanks, Bob. Okay. Anything else on the paving? This punch list?
Yeah, we actually, I sent you an invite for Friday.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay. I accepted too, I think. So. Okay, perfect. And the last thing I want to mention is it is Sal's birthday today, and I want to wish him a very, very happy birthday. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sal. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Nothing pleases me more than being here with all of you at 6 o'clock at night on my birthday.
And nothing
I can't
pleases
tell
us.
you how happy I am. Thank you so much.
Well, we're going to get you out of here at 6 o'clock. So,
I told you there was heart in there.
Bob, you have something to say?
He said order pizza.
Hang out a couple more hours.
We would, but it's not in the budget. So, and Adam would definitely not go for that at this point. So, looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We adjourn. Our workshop adjourned.